Last time on Square Roots, it's a blast from the past when we're haunted by ghostly pirates, a sinister genie, our dead uncle, and a robot guy thing. Also, Johnny wants some ice cream from the visiting ice cream truck. Yes, he wants some ice cream because Johnny knows ice cream don't suck. Johnny wants some ice cream. It's a creamy, dreamy treat. It's a ice cream sweet. It's a ice cream sweet. It's a ice cream sweet. Boop, boop.
I love it.
Are we allowed to put bits that have nothing to do with the game content in the last
She
time?
can do whatever
Nothing happened
she
last
wants.
time. I didn't have anything to say.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
My name is Matthew Van Zandt. I'm joined by Johnny Zemnis
Saix.
Brandon.
Zemnis? I don't want to be Zemnis. Which one
You wanna
had
be
the X on his head?
That's Saix. That's what I said, because I'm the host. I do the intro.
Shit.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Say that again.
Johnny Saix Brandon.
Yeah,
So
Saix.
that was the guy with the X on his head?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
His name
I think.
was Saix.
Saix.
Also with us, as always, is Vanessa.
What's up?
And this is a
going on, bro?
podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs like Kingdom Hearts 2, which we are finishing today, this episode.
Can you believe that?
Wherever you listen. I can believe it. All good things must come to an end, I suppose.
You didn't even play it with the show.
I've played it more times than you can
you.
count.
I don't know. I can count pretty high.
That's a good point,
Played
actually.
more than
I don't think you can play it more times than we can count.
that. I'll send you a screen cap of my Sora character at level 99, and you can tell me who
Nobody
played
cares
it
about
longer.
what you did when you played it 2 years ago.
I played it a few months ago.
Just because you turned it on and saved it again so that the save would look fresher doesn't mean we believe you.
We've been at this series for a while.
Yeah, this was a long one. The last one was a long one. The next one is a long one.
We're on a real nice kind of 8-episode series cadence.
2 whole months on one game feels like too much to me.
Does it?
The next game's going to be a little bit shorter, I think. So that's
I
good.
thought it was 2 episodes per disc.
No, not that one. The one after that one.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to talk
One
about
after that one's a nice little cutie.
Yeah, just a little buddy you can have fun with.
Mm-hmm. It's just a little pocket pal of a game.
Jim,
Yeah.
it takes too long to level up your drive forms to get those extra movement abilities.
It's because you didn't do anything I told you to do.
You only need
In
to
your
level
Twitch
them
chat.
each up to 3, and you leveled them all up to like 5. I
But
was
then you just
watching you
get-
get
then you
wisdom
just get
form
the
to like
baby ones.
6. So what? All you need is double jump and dodge.
Your double jump, like you can jump so high if you max it out. Your high jump gets so
Who
high,
cares?
and then you can do the midair.
Ooh, then you can get the
spin thing
puzzle
where you jump
pieces.
even higher.
Ooh,
Yeah, and the puzzle pieces too.
Ooh. That's the only reason to get that stuff. There's no other benefit to it.
Well, you can do
Yeah.
that dungeon that only Jim
Oh, that's
did.
right. You can do that dungeon.
Oh
that
yeah,
only
I
Jim
didn't
did.
put that in the notes, but we got to talk about that.
I mean,
Hey,
that feels
Jim.
like more like a Jim's
Hey.
bonus dungeon
Jim.
corner.
Whoa, it's Vanessa.
Hey, Jim.
Hey,
What do we do on this show?
I already said it. I did say it a few minutes ago, but we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs like Kingdom Hearts Deuce. Guys, let's talk about how we leveled up. Let's just do it.
Let's just do
Let's
it.
get right there.
I can go first.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I did try out a few things. I watched that Army of the Dead movie that Jim was raving about, and it was pretty bad. And I downloaded and have been playing a new game called Knockout City. Knockout City.
Knockout City.
Knockout City
Kick,
is a
colon, Knockout
multiplayer
City.
dodgeball game in the vein of like kind of Overwatch or like a deathmatchy type game. Not really an Overwatch because Overwatch has characters and this is more like Fortnite.
I feel
with
like
skins.
what's the name of that car soccer game? It's more like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rocket
it's a bit like
League.
Rocket League. I love Rocket League actually. I've been playing it a bit, and I would recommend our listeners check it out. I think it's free right now, and it's a dodgeball game and like a deathmatch dodgeball game, and it really is just a lot of fun. Real short matches, easy to pick up and play. Knockout City. We'll talk more about that maybe if I can get Jim and John and Vanessa to download it and play with me. Every time I play it, I'm like, this is fun, but it's not as fun as playing with my friends.
I don't have Game Pass.
I think it's still free, Vanessa, on the PlayStation.
Oh.
You haven't even looked.
No, I haven't even looked.
I also just today finished the main story mode, I should say, for a game called Power Rangers Battle of the Grid. What do y'all know about Power Rangers?
Alpha 5 looks like the Black Mamba.
Okay.
There's 5 of them, and they're
That's
only
incorrect.
white when they're not in their suits.
They're only white?
There's,
Not all of them are white.
Power Rangers has a long history of diversity in its cast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like the Black Ranger was black, the Yellow Ranger
Yellow
was
Ranger.
Season's
Asian.
a little rough, but it gets a lot better. I think that the main character is not usually a white guy after our first couple of seasons. There's lots of women and minorities.
I Zombie Lady was a motorcycle Power Ranger.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
RPM.
Yeah, that RPM series was popular.
I guess my point is that it's a Japanese show, and then instead of just like bringing the Japanese show to America, they found some American kids, and they're like, you act like you're the Power Rangers, and then when we have scenes of the actual Power Rangers, you do the voices, but you're not in those suits.
I think
That's
it was
true.
a bit more complicated than that because I believe they reshot stuff for the American show, although with the original Japanese like action performers.
Oh, really?
Like, I think there was some especially later on in the later season of the first
They
show.
definitely reused the Japanese footage a lot early on.
Yeah, they did.
It was a pretty
Rita
smart
Repulsa
idea,
and all-
actually. I mean, it
Yeah.
became one of the most popular series on the planet there for a minute.
You became one of the most
I-
popular series on the planet. I'm sorry, I'm grouchy tonight. I've been working a lot. My throat's kind of still bothering me. So let's continue. I'll try to have a more positive attitude.
I was definitely caught in Power Rangers mania when I was a kid. It was like the most popular thing on the planet.
What era
Everybody
did
wanted
you?
to be a
what,
Power Ranger.
What era was that? Like the originals?
That was like first season.
Yeah, when the movies came out.
Movies came out a few years later, right?
I think the big American movie came out pretty quickly. I feel like
With Ivan Ooze.
yeah, Ivan Ooze. That's right. I would love to watch that movie again. To be honest with you, I even like the
You would love to.
yeah.
You would
Yeah.
love to.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
would have a great time watching
All
that.
right.
I
Um,
believe it.
I even like that new one with Elizabeth Banks, who I adore so much.
You know what? I liked that movie too.
It's a lot better
It
than
was
it gets
not
credit
bad.
for.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, I played a game called Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It is a fighting game that is available on Game Pass if you have an Xbox, and just released like a legendary version that has all of the DLC, which there's a lot of. I mean, who cares about? I don't bother with DLC, but
Calling any version of any Power Rangers game a legendary edition seems a little bit.
Well,
presumptuous.
so I played through the story mode in this game, and it was, I have to tell you guys, it's shockingly good. And if you have any love for like a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Smash Brothers, fight 'em up game, you should check out, particularly while it's on Game Pass if you have it, you should check out this Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It's got simplified controls similar to Smash, but it plays like a Street Fighter. And it's very fast. And I think it has some of the most novel, maybe not most novel, but I think it's got some of the best takes on like new abilities and stuff that I've seen in a long time. A lot of these games just kind of rip off Street Fighter. And this one feels pretty unique in its own way. As much as some of the Rangers look the same, they play a lot differently. And there's some really neat stuff in there. The Red Ranger's really fast and strong and powerful. You know, the Green Ranger's really tough. They've got the Yellow Ranger in like a dino mech, which is awesome. There are super moves where you can call upon the power of the Zords to like shoot missiles at your enemies or like swing its sword at your enemies and stuff.
Are Bulk and or Skull playable characters?
No. So this seems to be based
Bummer.
on what I think was a comic book take on the Power Rangers, where there's an evil version of the Green Ranger that has become like the master of all dimensions and has killed Rita and everybody else and is stealing morphers and giving them to like soldiers so he can like march across the dimensions and take over the world.
So I was like 16 when Power Rangers came out, and I thought it was hilarious. You know, like how when you're a teenager, you like watching bad things for fun. Like,
Oh yeah, that's when I was watching Pokemon.
yeah. And then just making fun of it the whole time, even though you're still like enjoying it, but you're pretending you're not, and you're just watching because it's so bad. So
I watched a lot
doing
of Digimon like that too.
Honestly, that sounds kind of fun. Watching Digimon and just making fun of it.
Yeah.
I would do
That's
that.
That's how I felt when I watched Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills.
So many ripoffs came out.
And I always wondered why was Bulk, who is like a 40-year-old man, going to Sunnytown High, or whatever the name of their city was.
Is it Sunny
Angel
it's not Sunnyvale.
Grove.
Angel Grove. That's right.
But he was like my age.
Yeah, for sure.
now.
So was his buddy, I think.
he was
weird.
Bulk and Skull. I think Bulk specifically was in a lot of seasons of that show.
Yeah, he was.
Up until pretty recently, I think.
That's
He always
crazy.
reminded me of Francis
can't
from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but it's not Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
It does look like Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I think that Bulk and Skull came back, or maybe Bulk did for something, but I know that after a few seasons, that show shifted into being set in the future and in outer space and in the mystic past. And
Bulk and Skull were on it because I think Bulk, and I could be very off base here, but I think he was like a community watch kind of person where he was like an authority figure for the kids. Maybe he ran like a dojo
I
or
don't
something.
know. That's funny. Anyway, Battle for the Power Grid. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. A really super fun fighting game that I really enjoyed. The characters, you know, they all look like Power Rangers, but the difference in the fighting styles really, you know, there's one of the Pirate Rangers has like a short sword and a gun, and she plays very differently. There's like a knight guy who's got a big old broadsword and a big rifle, so he's slower, but he does these mega attacks. Goldar's in it as a villain, and he's a lot of fun.
Is there Rita Repulsa?
Not playable. Zed apparently is a DLC character, and so is Serpentina, but not Rita Repulsa. But there's such difference in the feel of the characters that I really quickly found myself very enamored with it, and I really want to recommend it to everybody. Check it out. It's got a pretty fun story for a basic ass Power Rangers story, you know, and it does that Injustice Mortal Kombat thing where you play through kind of as everybody to get a feel for everybody, and fuck, it's shockingly good. Shockingly good. And I was looking at it right as I finished it up. They've got some new DLC that they just released where you can play Power Rangers Ryu and Power Rangers Chun-Li, and they have skins that are like 90s Chun-Li and 90s Ryu, and Ryu's got like a flannel around his waist and he's wearing like leather gloves. Cool. It's pretty fucking funny.
I want to see a grunge Ryu.
Anyway, that's me. That's how I leveled up. What about you,
That sounds like...
Vanessa?
Crunch.
Crunch?
Oh, no.
Crisp.
Not this again.
Not this again. Oh, you have to give the winner, don't you?
Crunchy Mamunchy. It's time to choose a winner for the Butterfinger Random Special Surprise Box. So
Box.
I have the names here, and I'm gonna use a random number generator right now to find a winner live on the air. And the winner is, drumroll,
Gross.
Volderoth.
Yay! You need to email us your mailing address.
Yeah.
We will reach out to you and ask.
Yeah. Don't just email us your mailing address if you are not the winner. We don't care where you live.
No,
not
actually,
to
do
be
email us
harsh,
your email
but-
address, your credit card number, your social security number. Thank you.
Matthew, we don't want that.
You
We
don't
want the
that.
listeners to give us their money. We don't want to take their money without their consent.
We're like, our plan is to social engineer their information out of them, not just straight up ask for it.
This whole thing has been a disaster.
I was thinking we should have done this like on YouTube, like announce the winner.
Yeah. You know what?
On a
I forgot that
YouTube
Vanessa
thing.
sold our podcast to Butterfingers without consulting us. Thanks, Vanessa.
So that's how I leveled up. I have successfully completed my solemn oath to the good people at Butterfinger that I would give away a Butterfinger prize pack on the air. Hashtag game better with Butterfinger. Crunch.
Crunch. Who's next?
Matt, how do you level up?
Matt started.
John, how do you
Vanessa, are
level
you
up?
not going to level up any? Do you not have a level up?
I haven't done anything.
That's a lie. You finished Shadow and Bone?
Finished Shadow and Bone. I am one episode away from finally finishing Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Ooh.
And
How do you like it?
I'm a Marvel fan in general. And I
So better than Kingdom Hearts 2?
and I've been watching Handmaid's Tale season 4, I guess we're on now. 3 or 4, the current season. Been watching that. Johnny, you'd be interested to know that a lot of it takes place in Canada this season.
Ooh. Is that good or bad?
It's good.
Oh.
Canada's the good guys in that show.
Yay.
I'm done. And I already passed it on to Jim, and then
No, you didn't.
they wouldn't let me just move on with my life. And
Do you want to pass it on to me?
I thought you
Yeah.
passed it on to John.
Yeah.
I don't care which one of you goes next.
I'll go. So pass it over to me now.
Johnny, how did you level up?
I leveled up by buying super cheap games that were on sale, except for one that was not super cheap and not on sale. So I did buy the BioShock collection on Xbox because it was $11 for me, or $12. And I was like, well, I want to see how those run on Xbox and see how they've aged. I played them a little bit on PC. But it's nice playing them like on a big TV and with my new fancy system, and it runs really well and looks pretty. Those games are definitely like, now that you go back to them almost 10 years later, so for Infinite, and like almost 15 years later for BioShock 1, they do seem like like these kind of theme park rides a little bit, where like things are happening around you, but all the interactions that are actually happening to you are just very rote, like first person shootery stuff or like sneaky stuff or whatever. But it's still fun. Like, it's still fun to have that theme park go on around you. Although I do find a bit with BioShock and a lot with Infinite, they overuse the statues as exposition thing and like big banners. Like in BioShock, you go through like 2 or 3 big banners explaining what the deal with Rapture is. But then in Infinite, you go through like 15 banners explaining what the deal with Columbia is.
There's a lot. They could have left a lot of that Revolution stuff out of Infinite, and it would have been a much less cumbersome
Like
plot.
all the Vox Populi stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
especially
could've- There's some uncomfortable racial stuff in there that just
Uh-huh.
does not need to be in there.
Yeah, like one of the big points it makes is, aren't both sides actually bad, and both sides are the slaves versus the masters.
Yeah,
And it's like,
and
no, they aren't.
The opening of the game wants you to assault an interracial couple, doesn't
Well,
it?
no, I think that the opening of the game wants you to not, but it gives you the option, man. Because
It
like the
does.
game's
Yeah,
not
well,
telling
yeah,
you
you know.
what to do. It's like, what do you want to do? But I also bought Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, which has been re-released onto the Nintendo Switch, and this is a remake of a. What would that be? Like an 18-year-old or 19-year-old PS3 game of the Shin Megami Tensei series. I haven't actually played like a straight SMT game before. It's very cinematic. And apparently someone was saying it's almost like a combination of a Japanese adventure game and an RPG. So there's a lot of like Japanese adventure game style stuff, which so far seems very true. Like it reminds me a lot of those parts in Persona, like the missions in Persona 3, like where you're going to the bathhouse, where you're going to the train or whatever. Like it's very linear in these set locations, and it has a very much a Persona 3's like what was it, the full moon missions.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I like that. But I'm about an hour in, maybe, because I haven't had time because I had to play stupid Kingdom Hearts too. So I'm about an hour in. I haven't gotten to any combat, and I haven't got to a save point yet. It's all just been story stuff, and a lot of like wandering around trying to figure out where the next story bit is. Like it definitely shows its age a little bit. That game needs some save points. I think I'm literally just about to see the first fight and the first save point though, so that'll be cool. Yeah, other than that, what else did I buy? Anything else for no reason? I think that's about it. BioShock and Shin Megami Tensei. I downloaded that Knockout Kings volleyball game that Matt was talking about.
Knockout City.
Sure. Knockout City volleyball game, but I have not tried it yet. Jim, how did you level up?
Well, I recently kind of reconfigured my streaming setup and have been testing out some different games. I played a couple hours of Lost Odyssey this morning. That was fun. That's our next Square Roots game, if our listeners don't know. And I also tried out some Psychonauts. Played some Psychonauts yesterday, which Vanessa and Matt were both on my stream. They had never played the game before. John, you played Psychonauts, right?
Yeah, I've definitely played Psychonaut. I never finished it. I got to like the second to last level. That game gets hard.
It does get hard. I like it a lot. Psychonauts is a fun game, and I got my PS5 in the mail the other day. So I downloaded Uncharted 4 and God of War and Ratchet and Clank. I haven't tried God of War yet, but Uncharted 4 and Ratchet and Clank both look great on the PS5.
I bet God of War would be pretty good with. Oh, does PS5 do like the no load time thing as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
But the games do have to like be made for it. But I think even if they're not, it'll, because that drives so fast, it really speeds up any loading.
It definitely cut out. It didn't cut out all of Uncharted 4's load times, but Uncharted 4 in certain areas has some pretty egregious load times, like minutes long.
Oh, wow.
Where it's loading up a new section of the game, and it cut those pretty much down to nothing, which was cool.
That's such a great game. I love that game. I love
It's
Rafe.
fantastic. Yeah.
He's very handsome and smart and a great Vanessa boyfriend.
He's such a great villain, too. Like, you can relate to him in kind of a perverse way, and he's such an asshole, like... and he's not that much different from the hero characters.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's man, what a well-written, great game. And the relationship between Nate and what's his wife's name?
Elena.
Between Nate and Elena is fantastic, and the way that's written is amazing. It's just cool to spend time with those characters. Like, they're so great. So yeah, that's how I leveled up. You guys ready to talk through the end of Kingdom Hearts 2?
I would rather talk about Power Rangers.
Let's get into it. Let's open Jiminy's journal.
for the last time in this
For
series.
the last time.
Until
there's
we play
still
Kingdom Hearts
4
3.
more. Yeah, there's
Vanessa.
That just came out
We
like
still
2 years ago.
We still have Birth by Sleep to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a Dream Drop Distance.
I don't know.
358 over 2.
358 over 2 days.
I feel like Birth by Sleep is like a necessary. I think we have to play that next if we're going to do another Kingdom Hearts.
That's my favorite one, I think. It's
Before,
awesome.
if we're going to do three, which we can't do for like 7 years. So who cares?
Yeah.
As much as I don't agree with like, you have to play all the game. Like, as I understand it, having not played 3, Birth by Sleep's the one you got to play.
Yeah, that's the big one. The other big one. 358 over 2 days is like immediately preceding Kingdom Hearts 3, so it's worth brushing up on if you're going to get into 3, but yeah. A lot of lore in Birth by Sleep. Anyways,
Worth brushing up
Kingdom Hearts 2.
No.
So we're back. We have to go back to Hollow Bastion. I don't remember why. I think the game just is like a new episode was added.
Yeah, I don't really.
And
Where did
then
we
it's
leave
go-
off? We redid all the worlds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So all
We
that's
just
left
finished
is
Lion King 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hollow Bastion
so-
with Tron 2, back to Twilight Town, and then the world that never was.
You do find that the security system is going all crazy and you're being attacked by those weird balls. It's a bit like The Prisoner. Heartless from the Tron's world, so like all these robo-Heartless are around. Yuffie, or Yuffie, depending on which game you're playing. I think in this game it's Yuffie.
Did they say Yuffie?
Sometimes. They definitely do at one point. Explains.
John, when you were watching the credits this morning, who did we...
Mae Whitman plays
Mae Whitman,
Yuffie.
yes, is Yuffie. She's great.
Yeah.
She is great.
Love Mae Whitman, and she's amazing in Arrested Development.
She's great in Parenthood, too.
Mm.
I like her in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, she's good in that, too.
Yeah. She's like, oh, the MCP is up to something. Sid's like, Leon went to go to Ansem study to see what's going on. You go to Leon at the lab watching the MCP using Ansem computer to crank out Heartless.
That's what Sid says.
Yeah.
Is that it's cranking out hard in that terrible Sid voice.
Yeah.
I don't remember who's the voice of Sid, but it's
Matt. It was Matt that actually voiced Sid in this game.
Take that, Matt, who just walked away from his computer.
He got so upset he walked away from the computer. That's what I'm trying to say.
He did. And I feel responsible because I came in with big grouch energy.
And I did tell him to go fuck himself yesterday when he was making fun of my. Oh yeah, let's talk about my.
That was this morning.
That was this morning.
That
You're
was,
right.
Oh, I guess it was kind of yesterday for you.
Yeah,
You've had a
'cause-
big sleep since then.
Yeah, I slept since then.
Yeah.
But basically, I was having a really hard time with the final boss, and I'd mentioned before that I find Marvel movies and Kingdom Hearts pretty much equally confusing because I don't know all the lore for either of them, and I don't always understand what's happening, but I was like finding the stuff that happened in the ending kind of fun. And then that's like, oh, so you think that this is better than Marvel movies? And then he brought it up again when I was dying over and over and over to the boss, and I did swear at him, and I feel kind of bad about that now.
I didn't. No. That is a false.
No, that is 100% true. You brought it up when I was trying to get through that boss.
I did bring it up to annoy you after you said it. You said
That's
fucking
because-
apropos out of nowhere. Apropos of nowhere. You were like, I was like, what did I say? I was like, this Riku Ansem stuff makes no sense. And John was like, this is better than the Marvel movies. Just out of nowhere.
That's exactly what he
That's
said.
exactly what I said. No, I thought you were talking about something.
The blue. And then, yes, later on, after a bunch of people jumped on you about it, I didn't say anything. I did bring it up while he was getting frustrated because it was very funny for me.
I don't mind if he thinks it's better than the Marvel
I
movies.
don't think it's better than the Marvel movies.
Just wish
don't
that
mind
you
either.
would have like once or twice pressed Y in that final fight.
I was pressing it all the time.
I think I really annoyed John. John was getting his ass blasted by these lasers, and I was like, if John had glide, he could just glide away from the lasers.
And I was
is that what the difference was?
Like,
I really didn't. I didn't. I'll just say it now. We'll get to it later, but I'll just say it now. I didn't struggle with this boss. I don't think it took me multiple tries. It was easy.
Well,
You just
better. I'm not good at these kind of games, Matt.
That's
when
not-
they have like timing and stuff.
I'm not trying to make fun of you because
and,
you're not good at the game. Just saying. I didn't think it was that hard.
Well,
And as
it was
Vanessa
for me.
said, I just wish that you would have hit the Y button once or twice during that fight. John is screaming for help. Help me! I don't know what to do. And I was like, bro, you gotta use the reaction command.
Yeah,
He
you
was
got
like,
press Y. Like it even
he's like-
says.
and then I
It
was
says on
like,
the screen to press Y, and he's like, "I can't. I have to press X."
John
pressing
was
Y.
just getting killed by these lasers, and I was like, man, I hope John's strategy of getting hit by every single laser is going to pay off.
You know, I didn't honestly want to stream this, but then they're like, "Oh, stream it. It'll be fun. Fun for them to mock me being bad at this boss."
It was a nice way to spend my morning.
Anyway,
yeah, we had a good
So,
time. We had a good time. I just want to, again, for the record, point out, I have no idea why you decided to bring Marvel into this.
I was explaining because you were like, "This is stupid," about a thing that happens that we haven't got to yet. I was like, "This is
It
as
is.
stupid as anything I've seen in a Marvel movie where I don't understand it, so it's fine."
The difference is in this game, it happens for no reason other than to happen. Just because they like the whole purpose of the game is to confuse you. So that at the end, when it turns out that, you know, it's not actually that complicated, you just have to kill a dude.
Mm-hmm.
They're disguising the assassination, is what I'm saying, because that's what this series is really about. Sora is Jiminy and Mickey's assassin. Jiminy obviously works for Mickey. He's like the hand of the king.
Mm-hmm.
Sora's his assassin. But the thing is, Sora's so fucked up in the head, he doesn't know. He doesn't even know. He killed the same guy 6 times.
He's like, "Oh yeah, the MCP's the one messing up with town security." We see Leon trying to use a computer, but the only message that comes up on the screen is "Ignorant users obey the MCP," which is great. Sid has an eradication program, but Sora has to go back to the Tron world to use it, and Sid has to go like get it. Or no, not Sid. Leon has to go get it from Sid too. So you go to Tron World. All right, so Sid has that eradication program. Squall/Leon is going back to grab that, but you have to go into Tron World so that Tron can set it up. You enter the computer once again and meet up with Tron, who is on the game grid, swarmed by Heartless. After you escape the Grame Grib, the 4 warriors flee to the IO tower, where the data to derez the MCP is waiting for them.
I like how they keep saying D-Res.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's classic. It's Tron.
There's a whole bunch of cutscenes of Leon trying to get back with the disc and then finally putting in the disc, and then they save it to Tron's identity disc. Then they go back to the Solar Sailor. And
The Solar Sailor section was pretty cool, where you had to like kill all the enemies before the Solar Sailor got weighed down too much.
and embark on a vehicle to travel to the Central Computer Core, where they fight and derez both Sark and the MCP, with Sark turning into Giant Sark, which was pretty fun.
This was cool when you got a whale on his legs until his legs bust, and then I liked it.
Giant Sark was kind of a pushover, though. Like,
Yeah.
he was not hard to knock down. He did get up again, because you never can keep him down, but it wasn't hard to get him down in the first place.
The MCP reminds me a bit of, what was his name? Zardoz from Power Rangers. You know,
Zordon.
Zordon. From the Power
Hang on.
Rangers.
There's a good joke in there somewhere. What is it? What do they say? What's the line in Zardos? The penis is
something-
evil.
Yeah, something about that.
My favorite Zordon line from the opening of those early Power Rangers seasons is where he tells Alpha 5, "Bring me 5 teenagers with attitude."
Oh boy, the penis is morphin time, right, guys?
And this and Space Paranoid and Hollow Bastion. So back to Twilight Town. You decide to find the mansion that's in the photo that Sora has that includes Roxas.
Yep.
Where did you find this photo again? You were in like a
you had it the
this
whole time?
dark area.
Yeah,
You
that was what the present that Riku left you along
But where'd
with
you find
the ice.
it? Where were
That
were
was
you when you found
when
it?
you got banished to the dark zone after the 1,000 fight Heartless and
Oh right.
yeah,
Hey,
but
Jim?
then like
Yeah.
You might know this if you had played the game.
wow.
I didn't remember, bro.
Uh-huh.
You find Hainer, and he says they're looking for Kyrie. They know Kyrie because she came over that one time looking for Roxas, and they're like, "Oh, who are you?" And she like came through a portal in the wall or something. The kids have already figured it out. They think there's an entrance to an alternate Twilight Town in the mansion. They use the fact there are duplicate crystals and a duplicate trophy as proof. They're like, well, how are there two trophies? There's only one. These crystals are part of this trophy, and I made this pouch special for Roxas. How come there's another version of this pouch?
What are you talking about? They don't know who Roxas is.
Oh, sorry. I made this pouch myself.
Special
They're
for
like-
themselves.
Yeah, they're like, where'd you get this pouch that has these alternate crystals in it? And they're like, oh, we got it from Mickey, so Mickey must know what's going on.
But they do not know who Roxas is because Roxas's friends were computer simulations
Yeah.
based on these children.
Yeah. So this game, of which we just spent like 20 hours playing, we're still trying to figure out the basic question that we were asked 5 hours in, which is, what the fuck is going on with this Roxas shit? We still got
Not
to ask
even
Mickey.
5 hours.
We've
Like
been
the
with
game
Mickey.
opens with
We've hung
Roxas,
out
and then
with
you're
Mickey.
like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, it's fun. It's
But
good.
Sora didn't know about Roxas until he found the picture. And then
Yeah,
he was
I know
looking
about
at the
Roxas.
picture,
Well, he
and he
ate
was
him.
like, that's Roxas.
And they're like, who's Roxas? And he's like, I don't know.
Some kid I
He
ate
just knows the name.
that lives in my tummy now. And has a girlfriend that lives in my girlfriend's tummy, we're going to learn.
Yeah, but I've got a question for you, Matt. What happens if him and Kyrie break up? Do you think like Naminé is like, well, can you go hang out with your ex just so like I can meet up with my boyfriend?
Oh my gosh, spoilers.
Okay, sorry.
Spoilers for things we're going to talk about in this episode.
We've all beaten the game.
If you're listening, you
I'm
either
sure
weren't
that-
playing the game or you've beaten the game.
I think that listeners like to play along by playing 5 minutes of the game, and then they listen to what we
pausing.
had to say about
I've actually,
they pause it.
there are listeners who said they've done that. So, yeah, it's possible.
I mean, that sounds kind of labor intensive, but I'm glad people are that into it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, listen, instead of doing that, just watch our streams.
No, it's fine. So
You can get our thoughts live, you know?
Oh, yeah. Fully loaded nachos on Twitch. That's me.
Oh, boy. Matthew Van's on Twitch.
We should make a Square Roots Twitch that auto hosts all of us.
Oh, we should. That would be great.
Yeah, we really should I know John doesn't want to, but the rest of us should consolidate maybe.
You guys can just consolidate yours and mine. That's fine.
Okay,
you
give
can
me
all
your
be fully
login
loaded
info.
nachos. Sure.
Sweet.
So-
I'm going to subscribe to so many e-boys.
Vanessa subbed me a subscription to an e-boy on Twitch the other day.
is he one of those hot tub streamers?
I mean, honestly,
got, like, the
I was watching the
inflatable hot
guy. I was
tubs.
like, why does she like this guy? Like, he's kind of obnoxious.
I was talking to Vanessa the other day about hot tub streaming. I would love to be a hot tub streamer. If I could game from a hot tub, yeah, I would do that.
if
in
it was a
second.
real hot tub, I think that'd be fine. But it's like inflatable pools they have in their living room. That's like,
Yeah.
oh, come on.
Yeah, that's
And they
weird.
don't
Somebody's
usually
bringing
game, they
in-
just sit in there.
Somebody's bringing in warm water, one microwaved bowl of water at a time.
Oh, yuck.
Really, it's not. It's just lukewarm, like hose water. That sounds terrible. Why would you want to do that? Don't
Lukewarm hose water.
don't fucking
That's
game from your
That's
tub.
my new Twitch handle. I'm lukewarm hose water on Twitch.
Cool hand
So-
lukewarm hose water.
Where were we? You get surrounded by a bunch of nobodies, and then King Mickey shows up to defeat them. He's like, "Oh, I know where the real Ansem is. He snuck into the organization console. The organization stronghold." And then the king's like, he's made a promise to somebody, but he can't say what it is when he's talking about Riku, and they like press him on it. They're like, "Oh, come on, you can tell us. Is Riku in the dark world? What's up with Riku?" He's like, "Oh, stop! Don't try to pressure me. What's wrong with you? I said I made a promise." So according to Mickey, the computer in the mansion is connected with the other Twilight Town, and that from there you can enter the realm of darkness where the organization is. You need to find the computer in the basement, and Pence says he can figure it out, but he'll need a password. And at this point, you do have to guess what the password is out of 3 options. And Mickey's like, Ansem loved ice cream. And I bet that's the password. So you have to choose it. What kind of ice cream does Ansem like? Matthew.
Ansem the Wise? He loves sea salt ice cream. Like, that's his...
No, it's liver pepper ice cream.
No, it's not liver pepper ice cream.
You get like 3 options, and this part really felt like this is suddenly a game for little baby children because it's like they're like, we have to guess the password out of 3 passwords. And they're like, what's that ice cream that we all used to eat? And you can go and like talk to people for clues. And Donald's like, it was sweet, but also salty. And then your choices are like liver pepper ice cream, strawberry ice cream, or sea salt ice cream.
And it is sea salt ice cream. So, you guess the password. Then you get zapped to Twilight Town. You don't get derezzed like in Tron, unfortunately. You arrive and then split up to find the entrance to the darkness. It's right there. Come on. There's a portal to the adjacent room.
Excuse me?
Adjacent?
Adjacent.
I want to point out that in the real world, again or still, the room that Naminé was in is white like the Castle Oblivion white. For no reason at all. Other than just so that she would fit in.
So yeah, they're like, "Oh, we gotta find that entrance to the darkness," and then you just like you open one door. Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, and you can try to go through the other doors, and Sora's like, "This doesn't feel right. I don't want to go through this door. We gotta explore everywhere, but no, not this way."
Even the game is like, just fucking get on with it.
You go through this portal to darkness, and a bunch of nobodies show up. Then Axel shows up to help you. He's
Axel?
like, he kidnapped Kyrie and brought her here. And then Saix got it memorized, caught her.
Saix.
I thought Saix was Xemnas, and I thought Xemnas was Xenohort. I got really confused here.
Well, Xemnas is Xenohort, but like he's still Xemnas.
Right. I thought there were 2 different people.
Oh, yeah. So like when you meet Axel, he explains the whole Kyrie thing, and then he's like, I lost her, but Saix captured her. And then he's like, Saix. And then he goes, Saix. Got it memorized. Like he reiterates it. Oh, like Saix.
It's like a Southern person trying to say sex.
Saix.
Do you boys think that Axel is in love with Roxas?
Yeah.
No, I thought they were buddies.
It's more like it's like a really special hetero friendship.
Yeah, there's a lot of hetero friendships in this game, and I think that's fine.
But what
John,
if they kiss,
you discussed that a little bit on your Twitch this morning.
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, well, let's talk about that when we get to the ending, because there's reasons why people were saying now kiss, because it does seem kind of romantic in staging, but we'll get there. All right. Axel puts his whole being into this attack, helping save everybody. And then he's like fading away because he's like, oh, they're like, oh no, Axel, don't die. He's like, well, this is what happens when you put your whole being into an attack, buddy. Sorry about that. Sorry for being mean to Kyrie.
That's
and
it. Axel dies because he attacked too hard.
And he says, when I was with Roxas, I felt like I had a heart, and I feel the same way when I'm with you.
Aww.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that despite the fact that Ansem like screams, "Nobody's don't have feelings" at you over and over again, that they very clearly do. It's a really weird thing, I have to tell you.
Axel does kind of comment on that as he's dying. He says something like I'd be sad if I had feelings or something like that.
But I think he is sad. He just doesn't know how to recognize that.
They have emotional reactions to things.
They call that alexithymia when you can't describe your feelings.
Oh, interesting. I've never heard that word before. I think that Ansem the Wise is a little bit prejudiced against nobodies, and that informs some of his opinions.
But I also feel like the game kind of seems to go along with what he's saying, because if the nobodies were real people, then Sora just murdered like a whole ton of people.
I mean, that's the insidiousness of racism, John.
That's true. That's true. But that doesn't seem to be a message this game is trying to convey.
No, that's true. It does not seem interested in touching on any sort of topic other than like hope.
Yeah.
It's like what am I thinking of? That always the message is always it's like shonen manga when anime.
And the message
in those things is always the same, which is friendship is fucking great.
There's a reason why, and Ansem kind of touches on it a little bit later about why he hates at least half of the organization so much. But we'll get there in a minute.
Okay. So, you go to the world that never was. And it kind of looks like a big dark city.
Yeah, it's bigger than anything else. And this is the thing that Chip and Dale have been like sensing on their sensors this whole time. And like,
sorry, who?
Chip and Dale, the Rescue Rangers.
They're not in this game. They're not in this game.
They are. They're like, nope. And the other one's like,
I would have remembered that because they're so goofy. Awful. They do not exist in this game.
I love Chip and Dale. I love the Rescue Rangers. I wish that it had been their Rescue Rangers iteration. Like get more Disney Afternoon with this stuff. That's my plea.
Remember that really hot mouth?
God,
that was in the
give
Rescue
Square
Rangers?
Monterey
Kingdom
Jack.
Hearts license. I want to make a game where Final Fantasy characters go through Disney Afternoon. It'll sell like fucking gangbusters.
Yeah, but then we'll have to be in Gummy Bear World for like 18
I don't want
hours.
There's already the Gummy Ship. I don't want Gummy Bear World because that cartoon was garbage.
I don't remember Gummy Bears being Disney Afternoon. We're talking Darkwing Duck. We're talking DuckTales.
Yeah,
Gummy Bears was definitely in there.
Tailspin. We're talking. I think Gummy Bears.
Bonkers.
No, Gummy Bears is on Disney, so you're right.
Yeah, totally nuts.
Not talking about Bonkers.
I still the theme song to Bonkers is seared into my brain, and it pops up at random times.
We're gonna
You're
go
still bonkers.
Final Fantasy characters,
Johnny's
wherever
boyfriends in Gargoyles.
A party of Final Fantasy and Disney characters are going to go on an adventure through Disney Afternoon, Marvel, and Star Wars. That's the game. You're welcome for the $1 million I'm going to make you per second for the rest of the time that exists in the universe. That's the game.
Okay,
can you imagine the blowback from Star Wars fans if fucking Sora was a Jedi? Oh my god,
that would be worth it just for that.
So it's kind of like
Sora's got to be in it, right? So it'll be Kingdom Hearts characters, Final Fantasy characters,
Marvel
Disney characters.
What if Cloud
Marvel
was a Jedi?
Characters? Star Wars.
I think Rey should be a Princess of Heart for sure.
Muppets.
Oh yeah, totally.
Muppets.
Yo, Muppets, a Muppet World?
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
A Muppet World
would be amazing.
Would be amazing.
Yeah, it would.
I don't even like the Muppets.
If you could have Fozzie in your party, oh yeah.
You know?
Sweetums as a summon.
You got Pixar floating around there in the background. You got the Disney princesses are still around for all their cool worlds and stuff. Ooh, you know what?
All
It's
right,
not
right.
world
It's
to
called
world.
fan
It's a
fiction,
big
Matt.
mashup. It's going to go all like Secret Wars Battle World. It's all just going to be, bam, we're on the same continent. You go from Muppet World to, that's more like
Muppet
a Final
World.
Fantasy game, right? Yeah, Muppet World.
Mhm.
Otherwise known as Earth.
That's the
So the
Muppets that are
world-
all Wario. They're all the Wah Muppets, like Wah
Wario.
Kermit and Miss Wah Piggy.
That's when Wario just wants to get obsessed with war. and
Sorry,
becomes
you're right. Wario. You are right.
So the world that
Wario.
never was is basically like a Dark City version
I was
of
playing
Twilight
that Power
Town.
Listen, real quick. I was playing that Power Rangers game, and the guy said, it's all going to go, what did he say? Nuclear or something. I was just like, Jesus Christ.
What, nuclear?
He said, what's the other way to say it? It's how I grew up
Nuclear.
saying it. Nuclear. That's what it is.
Nuclear.
That's how I grew up saying it, because I am a hick, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I like this town very much. I think it looks really good. It's all sort of Art Deco. It reminds me.
Neon.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit of like New York City,
Yeah.
and I think it looks like the most habitable place that we have been so far.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's like skyscrapers and stuff. Like it's a legit.
Yeah, there's apartment buildings
city.
and
It's a bit like going into New Donk City in Mario Odyssey, where you're like, wait, there's like legit cities here? There's like actual cities with plumbing and stuff? That's where Mario works. Oh my God, it all makes sense now.
So you make your way to City Square. Roxas shows up. Yeah, Roxas. He's like, Sora, you and I are gonna fight, and then he like puts a barrier up so that Donald and Goofy can't help you out.
But he's in his hoodie, and he does not tell you who he is.
Right, that's true.
But he
Roxas
does-
can't be there.
Yeah, he is.
Well, he can.
That's a great
He is.
point, actually. What the fuck even is this?
He's somehow there, and he does fight you with his dual keyblades. And this is a tough fight. It took me a few tries. I had to like totally mess around with all my abilities to make sure that I was concentrated on defense.
I had
And,
to. I'll tell you what. This is when I had to go grind the forms, the drive forms, because I had to get double jump and dodge roll to get through this fight. I would not have gotten through it without dodge roll.
I don't think I ever got dodge roll.
Really?
Yeah.
Dodge roll is what
That's
got me
probably why
through
I was-
this fight for sure.
Yeah, I think that would have helped me with that fight that I had so much problems
It
with.
took me, I think I died to this guy like 5 times. I kept
Yeah, me
trying
too.
to bash my head against him and dying, and then finally I was like, all right, I'll go level up my drive forms. And I did, and I came back and kicked his ass.
I had I just messed around with my abilities until I got ones that where I could survive.
That's a good
I probably
idea.
should have
That's
leveled
smart.
up more.
This is
I was
the
playing
part.
on easy, so I had no problem. I did have to use a couple of Healy items.
That sounds nice, actually. I think I would have liked that.
Mm-hmm.
This back half of the game, I guess I haven't talked as much on these last few episodes because I played it all at once. But this is when I was really enjoying the game. Like, I was grinding for funsies. I don't know. Like, as much as I don't like anything that's going on in, like, plot-wise with the game, and I'm frustrated with all the missed opportunities and yada, 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 like, I have to admit, Jim was right. The combat is so fluid and, like, hooky. I love it. And this fight
Sora
was
starts to
fun
feel
as shit.
real powerful.
Yeah, he does. You start getting those negative combos where now you've got all these additions to your combo and a finisher, and then you start taking the additions out so that you get to the finisher faster. So you're just doing
Yeah, I
your
probably
finishers.
should have done that because there's a lot of like bosses will not get their last little speck of health taken off until you use a finisher on them. And if you've
Oh,
got
is
like a
that what
20 or
that
30
is?
hit combo, then
Yeah.
like they aren't dying. So you got to like get your finishers up faster
Yeah.
and get rid of those additional combo things.
So you got that
it
negative
gets very
combo.
annoying.
I had that, and it was you're doing the combo every second swing. Or the finisher every second swing. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I should have just undone all my combos.
So I guess what I'm saying is the abilities get really good in a way that's really interesting. And I was shocked. Like, I really got super into this. It carried me through the rest of this game that otherwise, going back through these worlds, I would not have finished this.
So after the Roxas fight,
I was just kind of
Roxas is like-
vamping in the hopes that Jim would come back to talk about the Roxas fight because I know he's got things to say.
Roxas is just like, well, I'm glad this was you fighting me, and like, you're great and rad. I'm glad I'm there inside your tummy or something. But then Roxas does disappear. It does seem like you kill a Roxas and you do get a 2 become 1 Keyblade, which does allow you to unlock the final form. Jim, do you have anything to say about the Roxas fight or Roxas's death?
It's the hardest fight in the game.
Jim, why do we fight Roxas? I thought he's in your tummy. How's he here?
I don't know.
It's
I don't know how this makes
common
sense.
in these JRPGs for you to have to fight yourself.
It is.
Yeah, that's
pretty
true.
common.
So he's dark Sora. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when we were Roxas way in the beginning and we had to investigate the
Best part of the game.
7 wonders of whatever called? And Roxas went to that waterfall and looked at his reflection and it came out and fought him. And he was like, another me? Was that Sora?
I don't think so. I think it was like an even darker version of his reflect. Like, so it was like a copy of a copy, you know?
Like when you photocopy something and the image quality degrades.
Yeah, like when your teacher gives you like a package that's just photocopies of photocopies because schools don't have the budgets they need. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and then like some
Sure.
of it's illegible. And the
Mhm.
teacher has to be like, this is what this says. And then you like
Yep.
write it in your little pencil on the margin.
Yep. So after this fight, you get a scene of Naminé showing up to help Kyrie and Pluto escape the dungeon area. This is over in like the castle, the final castle area. This is pretty fun. She like creates a portal and Kyrie's like, I don't know if I should trust you. Naminé's like, come on. You know me. And so, like, they do escape. Naminé and Kyrie are running around, and they do run into Saix, who... Saix, who wants to recapture them. Then a black cloaked guy shows up and chases Saix away. Before he can leave, Naminé's like, hey, Riku. And Kyrie takes off his hood. But that ain't Riku. It's Ansem.
It's Ansem.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I say Ansem, I don't mean Zemnis.
You mean
And I don't mean- No, I don't mean Hanson, and I do not mean Christopher Lee. This is like a third Ansem.
This is the Ansem from the first game that we fought at the very end.
The one with the Cum Guardian.
Yeah.
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 He even has the Cum Guardian.
And so it looks... So I was just confused here because, like, they both have bluish hair. So I was like, is this Riku aged up? But then through context clues, I realized that he's supposed to look like the guy from the last game. I think also people in my chat were telling me that it was the guy from the last game, which helped a lot. But no, it is Riku. He's just in someone else's body. Eventually, you're running through this tower. You do run into Saix. And he's like,
Saix.
You've done a great job getting hearts for the organization, and Kingdom Hearts is almost complete. Kyrie shows up. She's like on a balcony on the other side of the room, and she's getting herself beat up by a bunch of Heartless, and then Riku's there and gives her a key blade.
Yeah, what's hilarious about that
snap.
is she's on the balcony and she's like, Sora, it's so good to see you. And then she like she swan dives off the balcony.
Yeah. She
And then
jumps like
immediately
30 feet to the ground.
Yeah. And then immediately just gets pounced on by like 8 Heartless.
Mm-hmm. I do like that she finally gets a keyblade.
Yeah, I like the evolution of her eventually becoming a Keyblade wielder.
Is she playable in Kingdom Hearts 3?
In the DLC, I believe she is.
Oh, is she playable in any of the other games?
No.
Oh.
Not that I'm aware of.
That seems like... I know that there's other lady Keyblade wielders that you find out
Aqua.
about. Yeah.
Mhm. Speaking of Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, I know that there's another one, but it's interesting. I really like that moment. I thought that was neat. And let's see. So then Riku shows up, gives her a Keyblade. Saix sees Maleficent and Pete, who just like at this point in the game, Maleficent and Pete seems so far removed by what's
Yeah.
going on. It's like, oh, what are they doing there? And then Maleficent's like, this castle is perfect for us. You've seen like 5 perfect castles at this point, Maleficent. Just pick
She
one.
said this. Didn't she say the same thing about the castle in Hall of Bastion?
Yeah, this isn't
And
House
the
Hunters,
Disney
Maleficent.
Castle.
This isn't House Hunters, Maleficent. Just choose one. I don't care. You can repaint the bathroom if you don't like the color.
I kind of like that she and Pete have just been having their own adventures. Like, while everything else is going on, they just show up and they're like, oh, yeah, we're finally here. And everyone's like, what? Oh, it's you guys.
Pete and Maleficent's plot turns out to be completely unnecessary, much like
I
most
know,
of the plot
but
threads
they
in
also
this
turn
game.
into like the kind of good guys.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird though. It's not like it's earned. They just
no,
show up and
Maleficent's
they're like,
always.
"This will be
Well,
my
no,
castle," and you're like, "I guess
Maleficent did save them.
I am going to blow this place up."
Yeah, but she
okay.
also said that she was going to murder them as soon as she could.
Yeah, well, I guess she's had a change of heart, and now it's like Angelina Jolie Maleficent, who isn't as bad.
Do you think that she and Pete are a couple at this point?
I think,
Yes.
like my roommate used to always date guys where she didn't really like them that much, but they would do what she said. I think it's one of those situations.
You know what?
Ah.
Maleficent seems like a cat lady, so this makes sense. Aren't we?
A what? I beg your
Aren't we
pardon?
all Maleficent at this point in our lives?
And we're all cat ladies.
A cat lady?
I mean, I have a cat.
Are cat ladies infamous for dating men they don't really like and telling them what to do?
No.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a cat lady thing.
Pete's a
Matt.
cat, guys.
Oh.
I forgot that part.
Me too.
So yes. Pete, yeah, so they're one of those really dysfunctional couples who, those couples where you're like at dinner with them and you're like, I think these two should probably break up. They hate each other. I think it's
Mhm.
one of those couples. So you don't accept their dinner invitations because it's just going to be super awkward. It's
Yeah,
like,
John, I've
the
been
one
that couple. Why don't you relax, guy?
It's like that one the best episode of The Office where they go to Michael Scott's house when he was dating Jan, and it's a nightmare.
Oh man, that's the best
That's-
episode.
It
of
is
The
the
Office.
best.
That's
It's
a great
such a good episode.
I thought the best episode of The Office was like Michael's little prize money or whatever it's called.
Oh no!
My favorite
No,
episode is the
no.
wedding episode.
I had to skip
It
that
make me
episode because it was so dark.
They finally got
Anyway.
married, and they got married at the falls and before the wedding, and that's why they didn't care. Ah! She cuts his tie
So
off.
Pete's like, I don't think we could take care of this many heartless there, Maleficent. And she's like, oh, come on. It'll be fine. And he's like,
Why did they pronounce her name like that?
He does.
Maleficent.
Maleficent. That's how he pronounced it. It's great. I love it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's like, once again, you underestimate me.
You're
Kitty.
always like this, Pete. We can't go anywhere. You don't have faith in my abilities, Pete. God, you're such a moron. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends, Pete.
I think Maleficent gets off on being withholding.
Yeah, exactly. So Pete does want to run, but she's like, no, that's a terrible idea. All your ideas are always terrible. Why don't you listen to me for once instead of talking? And Pete's like, sorry, dear. Yes, dear.
Well, Pete like starts to back off and then he sees Mickey and Mickey's like, hey, Pete. And Pete's like, oh my God, it's you, my boat boy, who like
Yeah.
thinks he's a king now. And
Mhm.
Mickey's like, yeah, time to throw in the towel, Petey. And then he gets mad and he's like, never.
That was pretty great. Mickey's running around fighting heartless and nobodies. He eventually finds Diz. Jim, you miswrote Diz. It should be D-I and then uppercase Z.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. collapsed on the ground. He helps him up. He takes off his bandages, and wow, he's so handsome. And it's Ansem the Wise. Was this supposed to be a surprise reveal?
I don't think so.
Okay, because it seemed
You
pretty...
have to know at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
And
This is
anyone
also
notice-
where.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did you notice when he took off his bandages, like there was sort of like a black dust that like came up from them?
Yeah.
What was that? Has he just been
the
wearing
dust
them
of
for
darkness.
so long? Oh,
Dark
okay.
Yeah.
This is where what's his real name? Ansem the Wise tells you why he hates the organization so much.
Mhm.
I mean, he alludes to it. So, and I'll fill you guys in on a little bit of lore. This is my last chance to really
Matt's-
dump some
yeah,
Kingdom Hearts lore
Matt's
on you guys.
not here, so...
Yeah. So, Ansem he actually had 6 apprentices, not just Xehanort. But the other apprentices are some of the other organization members. So that's why he's so prejudiced against the organization and the nobodies, which he admits in this conversation. He says, like, they stole my research, they stole my, like, technology, they stole my pride. And so he was obsessed with revenge, and Mickey's like, I can't help you with revenge. And he's like, I know, Riku told me that 1,000 times.
Yeah, Mickey's like
and-
mad. He's like, "Why didn't you come to me? Like, I could have helped you." And he's like, because I wanted revenge, not just justice." And Mickey's like, "I don't do revenge. I'm a good little mouse." And he's like, "Oh, I know."
I'm a family-friendly character.
Mm-hmm. This is just like my favorite Star Wars characters, the Knights of Ren.
Ooh, they show up for like 10 seconds in the Star Wars, that last
Yeah,
one.
they're great. You hear about them like through 2 different movies. Then when they finally show up, you're like, are these them? I guess that was them.
Was it them?
Why don't they have lightsabers? This doesn't make sense. And then they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
The Crimson Guard
yeah.
in the throne room scene at the end of Last Jedi, way cooler than anything having to do with the Knights of Ren, it turns out.
And Tomax and
Those-
Zaymot's Crimson Guard are great too.
Those guys
That's a
should
good
have
pull,
been
John.
the Knights of Ren. Just be like,
Yes,
yeah, those were the
Yep.
Knights of Ren.
that would have made a lot of sense. But, you know, when you intentionally and loudly proclaim that you don't have a plan for this series, this is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I will always have
Unlike
The Last Jedi.
Nomura
great.
and Kitase, who have all sorts of well laid out plans that Kevin Feige is just
Feige.
unable to compete with.
Kevin Floige.
I'm
Maybe
joking. JK.
It's
so,
okay that you like Kingdom Hearts better than Marvel movies.
I
Get there,
don't.
that's fine.
I just,
Nobody's holding it
That's
against
not-
you. Just
John, it's okay if you like the Kingdom Hearts lore more than the
it's
Star Wars
just
lore.
that
That's-
maybe
what?
you know, John.
No.
It's the classic thing.
Well, maybe
It's
that
the-
last
you,
one.
You really, to all those people, you really phrased it as like this is the superior of the two. I mean, that's what you
that is
said
not
verbatim.
Yeah.
what I said.
I didn't get that from what John
Vanessa,
said.
back me up. That's what he said
but,
verbatim.
That's what he said verbatim.
Burger
Verbatim.
time.
And
Burger time.
that's what he said to Burger Time. And it's fine, but you really need to, and this is not just a you problem. A lot of people on the internet run into this where they forget to use their I statements. You know, you start to think that your opinions about media are somehow objective when
But
opinions
that's not
at their
no,
heart
I-
are always
Mhm.
subjective because the way
But I
you interact
agree,
with art
you know,
is
and I try
different.
to approach
So,
things with that
yeah,
attitude.
so when you said, you know, Kingdom Hearts is better than Marvel and Marvel stans are just idiots, I
would
thought that
never
was
say
pretty
that.
far. It was a little too far to go.
Ansem tells us what we already know about Xemnas and Xehanort. So I don't know if it's supposed to be about Revelation or not. He also admits he was obsessed with revenge on Xehanort. He says Riku helped him after he found Riku wandering in the darkness after Kingdom Hearts 1. Mickey asks why he still looks like Ansem. And Ansem says, though, that's my fault. Okay, and
Yeah,
when I
this
say
was- this
Ansem,
was-
I mean Ansem from the end of
The-
Kingdom Hearts 1.
this was a really interesting reveal, I think, as far as like why does Riku look like Ansem?
Mm-hmm.
So Xehanort, or not Xehanort, Ansem the Wise explains that after he found Riku, he's like, hey, if we're gonna wake Sora up faster, we need to find Roxas. So he says Riku left without a word, and he guesses that Riku eventually found Roxas and lost to him in a fight, which must happen in 358 over 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that he realized that if he wanted to beat Roxas, he needed to immerse himself in darkness. So he did that and took on Ansem's form.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Ansem's nobody was still inside him? Or is Heartless?
Yes. Yeah. So, well, Xehanort's Heartless was.
So in the first game, Riku got possessed by Xehanort's Heartless. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, Riku was just a sort of innocent victim of Christopher Lee's revenge.
Ooh, all right, let me, since we're here, we're talking about this stuff, let me put in my 2 cents. This is when I realized that Kingdom Hearts is like a CW show, where they just have like a goal that they want to get to and a bunch of characters that they don't like and don't want to, and don't have any reason to exist in the plot that they have to jam in because they're the regulars. You know what I mean? Riku's here, and Riku looks like Ansem because otherwise they'd have to let you play as Riku, and they don't want to do that. Like, that's it.
Well, they don't want to do that.
They disguise him
now.
as Ansem. He gets to meet Roxas, and he has to look like Ansem, so he can't just come and tell you, like, you ate another boy.
Well, yeah, and this is something that Jim's notes kind of gloss over, but there is a scene where Riku and Sora meet up, and Sora reveals, or Riku reveals his face as Ansem face, and Sora's like, I have so much to tell you. I should hate you for what you did to my friends, but I have to thank you because you saved Kyrie. And then Riku's like turning around, but then Kyrie's like, don't you have something to say? Riku, come on, say it to Sora. And Sora's like, what? And then Sora turns, and Riku turns, and Riku doesn't want to say anything. And then Kyrie's like, okay, put your hand on his hand, and you'll understand this is your friend. And they all put their hands together, and then you got a scene of them in a black box theater production where they're all standing together with their hands, and it's them like back in Destiny Island, you know, together as friends, and he realizes that no matter what he looks like, Riku is Riku, and Riku's his friend. And I thought the scene was pretty sweet.
Sure,
I
like the relationship between Riku and Sora, and I like Riku a lot. Like, I guess we're not there yet, so we'll talk about it when we get there.
No. And,
but it does
Riku
also kind of explain that Riku has been missing, and the reason Mickey couldn't talk about Riku is that Riku was too ashamed to let Sora know that he had given into the darkness, and now he's like Ansem.
It's that, like, what I think of as like the worst kind of writing, where a lot of the questions of the story could have been very quickly and easily resolved if people were just like, just talk to each other.
That is a very
CW thing, right, Vanessa? Like, that's like nobody can ever tell anybody anything, and that's why this has gone on this way. Like, we've gotten 20 hours of gameplay out of it because they couldn't just be like, Riku's in your party, or like Riku's dead, or whatever.
But honestly, I think the reveal, especially when you consider the broader context of like what happens at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, where Riku and Mickey get locked away in the darkness, and then this eventual reveal at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, it adds a lot of, like, that reveal has not a ton, but some kind of gravity to it. And I think the Sora and Riku, and to an extent Kyrie, not so much in the first game or in the first half of Kingdom Hearts 2, but in the latter half of Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, that really anchors the whole series, I think. I like the dynamic between Sora and Riku and Kyrie. I think it's good, and I think, like, I wish the game would have leaned more into that and less with all this organization.
I don't really
bullshit.
agree with that in regards to Kyrie, but I do, like, I agree with you. Like, I think that the relationship between Sora and Riku is one of the very few things that this game does well enough that makes you, like, care about what's going on. And does
Yeah.
kind of let you overlook
think
the silliness of what's happening because it's like, well, but
I think
who cares? Like fucking, it's nonsense.
yeah, and
the
like
end of the day,
Riku, I
everything's
think
nonsense.
Riku is probably the most well-written character in the game in terms of like how complex he is.
Maybe.
With like all the kind of darkness light interplay stuff and how he's kind of trying to be a good guy, but he keeps having to compromise himself to the darkness to
It
kind of keep
reminds
Sora
me
safe.
of
I like
the
it.
old Mega Man games, the Mega Man X games, when they spent so long trying so hard to come up with excuses for why you couldn't be Zero in this game. Like, just let me play as the person that I want to fucking play as, please. And his name is Riku. Riku's great. Or Roxas.
Yeah.
So I really liked I liked this reveal. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked I mean there is a bit like it's a little awkward and maybe the staging isn't that great, but it gives you like a flashback to when he was trying to defeat Roxas and couldn't, and then he shows him like getting the darkness summoning Ansem's darkness, and then you see like the Cum Guardian
But
grab
why did
Roxas.
he have to fight Roxas? And why did he have to like go at him
because-
so hard that he had to like turn into Ansem? Well, he didn't kill him.
Because he had to defeat, I don't know, there's some rule.
Now, he had a theory that if he beat up Roxas, then Roxas would like fade away and Sora would wake up.
Okay.
Ah,
That works.
Well, there you go. So where were we? We're talking about Riku. So Riku's joining up your little gang, and now you got Kyrie with the Keyblade. Hopefully, well, sadly, she's not playable in this game, but that's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. It's fine. So, you make your way up the castle fighting Zigbar.
This is so great. You fight your way through what, like 12 guys?
Yeah, Zigbar is the one with the sniper rifle. That was a
Yeah,
fun
that's a good
fight. Like, it wasn't hard, but I liked it. Luxord, which was Luxord does turn Sora into dice and cards, which can be fun. You have to like attack him as dice by jumping at them. It took me a while to figure out how to control that. And then finally you get this big epic battle. And I thought this was Xenohort, so I was like, ooh, is this like the end battle of the game? But no, you're fighting Saix.
Saix.
And eventually you get to the top. And at the top and they're like, this is it. This is the big battle. And it's the real Ansem.
Dun, 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 which is to say it's Diz.
Yeah, it's Diz. So this is Ansem the Wise who's up there. And he has like a gumball machine full of magic.
What is this? Have
I
we
don't-
even mentioned...
I
You
don't
probably mentioned it
know.
when I wasn't around. Have we talked about the fact that there's a giant full moon, except it's in the shape of a heart?
No.
What a great
No,
visual,
there is a
though.
giant full
I
moon.
absolutely love
I-
this.
I definitely took multiple screenshots of my character standing in front of the
looks great.
heart-shaped moon.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah,
does.
I liked it. And so I don't okay, Jim, why is Ansem the Wise shooting a gumball machine at the big heart-shaped moon?
I think it has something to do with opening Kingdom Hearts or something. I
Or
couldn't
closing
tell
it?
you.
I think he was like
Or
trying to suck
closing
all
it,
the
yeah,
hearts
maybe.
out of it. I think he was trying to get the hearts out.
I don't know what this thing was.
He does. So he's like trying to destroy it, but I guess it like takes the rest of his life energy or something. I don't know, but he does like blow it up, and everyone's like, "Ansem, no!" And his little gumball machine blows up, and everyone's very sad. But he's like, "I don't know what this will do, but what this does is this blast not only destroys him, it also turns Riku back to his original
It does.
form."
Listen, I know. Let me backpedal a little bit. The reveal here is pretty fucking hilarious. You like see Diz from the back, and then like the red mummy wrappings fall to the ground, and there's like a golden glow, and then the camera pans up, and it's just like a handsome white-haired dude. He's just like, "Hello." It's great. Hello, he's Christopher Lee. So he's, "Hello, I'm Ansem. Ansem the
There's also-
Wise, King Mickey." I
There's-
can't believe the things that they made Christopher Lee read in this game.
I know. Well, like, I mean, Christopher Lee kind of did whatever they gave
true.
him money
Yeah,
for.
he's like,
his name.
I'll-
His name was Dr. Catheter in Gremlins 2.
That's a good
He
movie. though.
had
That's a
a
great
huge and amazing body of work, and he did donate his time to smaller productions like Gremlins 2.
Smaller productions.
So he's
And
dead.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Yeah. He didn't donate his time to Lord of the Rings. I'm sure they paid him very
And all those Hammer
handsomely.
Dracula
Like,
movies.
dear Mr. Lee,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
just
Have
a
we
ragtag
discussed
group of
before the
New
Christopher Lee
Zealand
story?
filmmakers.
And that
What?
metal album.
The Christopher Lee story of someone like Peter Jackson or someone say to him, so now imagine that you're plunging this knife through the guy's spinal cord and what this would feel like. Christopher Lee being like, I know exactly what that feels like. Because he was
Yeah.
like a real
Yes.
life spy
Yes,
assassin.
I have read that.
These
Yes,
really?
Jim, have
dudes.
you not seen this?
Whoa, no,
It
that's
is. He's
dope.
like, I don't remember exactly what it
and-
was, but it was something like Peter Jackson being like, imagine what it's like to feel this man's life leave him. And Christopher Lee is like, I know what that feels like. He was like a Nazi
He was part
hunter.
of a
Legit.
like, yeah, he was a
Oh, wow.
he was
that's
in a
awesome.
commando squad with Ian Fleming.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Sir Ian Fleming.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for throwing in the sir for Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
And not for Christopher Lee.
Yeah, sir. I'm pretty sure.
Was he knighted?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Oh.
So there's a great scene, another black box theater. I'm going to use this term all the time now, Vanessa. Another black box theater scene of Riku, and he removes the robes of Organization 13, and his clothes are now his original outfit from Kingdom Hearts 1. A little yellow life preserver. A little short crop vest. And he
But he's
becomes
much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean he's grown up.
Yeah. What do we think? He's
And-
like 16 now, something like that?
I always thought he's like, I think Sora's like, he's like 17 now or something. 17 or 18, because he's a couple years older than Sora. So they are now, he replaces Donald or Goofy in your party, and you fight up through the castle, and you get to the top floor where Xemnas is there, and this is where they say, okay, this is the real end of the game, and you do have a fight with Xemnas in his throne, and at this point, much of the Dark City and the castle that never was is destroyed because there's like 5 stages of this fight. The first one, he's in his throne, like he's just kind of a dude in a throne, and you attack him, and then like you're like, oh, well, that's all over. But then a dragon attacks you because he does disappear too. After you defeat him, he's like he disappears into little dust, and I'm like, oh, is that it? That can't be it. And Vanessa's like, is this his final form? And I'm like, probably not. I feel like you got to go to space or something. And so then you go to space because, and I guess, so is it the city that turns into a dragon?
I think it's like the castle, right?
Oh, okay. So the castle turns to dragon, and all of the old dark cities like thrown at him. And at one point you're racing as the city's like destroying you, and there's a great reaction commands where Sora slices through buildings and throws them or launches off the.
Like, I know that's like real anime bullshit, but I thought it was so
I love it.
cool.
It's great. You know,
Yeah.
I'm definitely as I get older and watch more anime and anime inspired things, I'm really a fan of anime bullshit now. Like that stuff
me
is
too.
pretty
I
neat.
think it's neat, and the Kingdom Hearts 3 really leans into that, where Sora is zip zapping around like basically teleporting around and doing cool shit like that throughout the whole game, and it's pretty
Did we
cool.
talk about?
I found this very upsetting. People live in those apartments.
No,
No,
that was
they don't.
empty.
They
could though.
Well, they could. We are experiencing a housing crisis, and they are destroying all these available empty
Did
homes.
we describe Riku, his new look?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right, well,
he has his arms.
I'll
are super
come
toned.
around and
He
just
is a muscular
to circle
boy.
back to that real quick. Say, I love Riku's new design. I think he looks great. He looks the most normal out of anybody in the game. Like he has an outfit
Yeah.
on that, like I can see, like people that don't make me want to lose my mind wearing. You know what I mean? Like he's just got shoes and some
Are you gonna cosplay
pants
as
and like a
Riku?
vest. He's like he looks good. And Riku's the best character in this game. And it's awesome here at the end that you get to fight with Riku.
But I see I know you said you'd rather that Riku stuff had happened way earlier, but I'm fine with it being like kind of the final act where you get Riku in your party. And I do wish the one thing I think they should have done is it should have been Riku and Kyrie in your party and not just Riku. I think it would have been better because Kyrie's like, don't leave me behind. I don't want to be left behind anymore. I'm going to be fighting alongside you. We're all friends. And then she's left behind. She's not there. So that's not great. It should have been all three of them.
I also think that introducing Riku, especially into the party this late, like it's still novel that Riku's in your party at the end of the game. Like it's like that cool factor stays all the way through.
Sure. I mean, it works for what it is, which is that he shows up and is very powerful and is in your party. I love his...
And he's one of the only like kind of world party characters you get that has a defensive ability for Sora, where he like protects Sora, which I think is cool.
Yeah, the shield that he throws up in front of you. So you run up the stairs. Well, you've already run up the stairs. So you fight through then you like they grab a space bike and they get on a space bike
like
and they're shooting
car.
at the
It's
dragon.
Cool,
yeah.
Yeah, Riku's driving. Sora's on this like little platform. It's like a
sidecar on a hover
It's like
bike.
a combination.
It's really weird.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's a combination of the gummy ship almost and regular. It's a little bit like flying the gummy ship. And what I noticed is you're actually better off not killing all the enemies and letting them fire their purple bullets at you because you can absorb those and then shoot your mega laser.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm. So you do get your mega laser, you do blow up this dragon. And then you got to like jump on the dragon because the dragon's got an Ansem in his throne cockpit thing. And
it's even ants. It's like King Arthur in armor. It doesn't. I don't know what this is.
I think it's somehow
it probably
still,
is. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or Xemnas. And you're fighting through Xemnas, and this fight was a little tricky because basically you got to do this reaction command after he knocks you off, where you like jump on buildings to like make him take damage again, and jump on buildings, then like throw a building at him, and that lets him take damage again. It's a little hinky, but like the idea was pretty cool, and I was like, okay, now this is a good last boss fight. It's a little challenging. There's a technique to it.
And yelling at us.
No, well, not.
I think I did throw a dig in about how was this still better than Marvel.
that wasn't this boss fight. Oh. This is the bit I'm getting at. I'm like, this is a fun final boss fight. This is where the game is ending, and this is a great last fight in the game. But then they're like, no, one more.
Oh, you're right. I got you. You get to fight just Ansem with his lightsabers again.
Yeah, he's got his lightsabers out. It's just you and Riku.
He just has 2 red lightsabers, by the way. What?
Yeah. He's got lightsabers. And this fight I found very, very hard and did keep dying over and over on stream while Vanessa, Jim, and Nat were giving me joking advice. I was at that point.
It wasn't.
Joking.
We were trying to help you. You just were too mad at us.
We were trying to help.
I was joking.
Yeah,
you guys weren't, but I was.
I was pressing that Y button as much as I could all the time, and I just...
You weren't pressing it all the time. You said yourself, I'm pressing it sometimes, but I also have to attack. And I was like, don't attack during this
But Jim's like, you got to press X too. And I'm like, but...
I'll tell you the thing that frustrated me most about watching you play this, John, is that you would kind of get through all these reaction commands, because there's one point where he throws you up into the air and you have to do like 30 reversals before you get to the ground. You would land on the ground, not lock on to him to attack him, but attack at nothing in the opposite direction. And you kept doing combos in the opposite direction. And I was like, John, just lock on.
Well, that's one thing this game does where he like removes, and this game does this a lot, where it removes the lock on. And I get really frustrated.
Yeah, it's wild.
Especially
it's
when
been
they
through
around,
the bosses throughout all this game. I don't think we even talked about it. Every single one has the ability to break your lock on. It's fucking annoying. It's really fucking annoying.
And I just had a hard time with this boss. I like got overwhelmed. There's lots
What
of,
I remember,
and I wasn't sure like should I be doing other things or just tapping Y? I guess it's only tap Y.
what I remember you getting very frustrated with was when you switched over to Riku, and that is when I was
Right.
like, just spam the fucking his Hadouken.
Well, eventually
You
I
did figure
figured
it
out that
Then you
you have
started
to use the
spamming his fireball, and you were like, oh yeah, I can just kill all this stuff. They can't even touch me.
Yeah. Well, the game gives you a bunch of
Yeah,
options, and it wasn't sure. Yeah. So yeah, I just had a really hard
tough time
time
with
with
this
it, and it was like after work. I was almost ready for bed, and got to go through all this crap, and so I was a big grouch because this was a hard fight, and I was getting super
John yelled at
angry
me,
because I died
and
like
from his
6
room
times.
where he was playing, where we were all working in our rooms in the Square Roots house. He did storm out and tell all 3 of us off. It was quite an event.
Yeah.
We had to leave for a while.
He did tell Matt to go fuck himself
Yeah, he
in the
did.
stream.
He was really mad at me, and I was like, why? I don't know what to do. And I'm like,
was
just
really
hit
funny.
spam Y. And he was like, don't fucking tell me what to do.
It was
like, don't
it was-
show me the push. Why?
So like John lost the fight once and was like, okay, I'll do it again. Lost the fight again, and he's like, lost the fight again. Very angry. Lost the fight again, and John was just like, this game
Yeah, he
fucking
did.
sucks.
And that's when I was like, still better than Marvel. God, that made me laugh.
And that's when I told you to
That
go
really
fuck
made me
yourself.
laugh. We were just teasing you, John. We know that you don't think Kingdom Hearts is
That was
better than
good
Marvel,
stuff.
and if you do think it's better than Marvel, we don't care.
But I don't.
I
think
don't
that.
care.
Anyway,
I don't care about your
So,
opinions.
So you defeat good old Zemnis.
Zemnis.
And then you get like I guess at like a 20-minute ending where
Well, I think you got to mess it up because there's a break there in the fight where everybody leaves, right? And then there's a long while
that's
where
right
it's
before
just
the
like
final
Riku
fight.
Riku and Sora alone, and Riku's like, "We just live in the darkness now, bro. Like this is life."
Wait, we like skipped over one of the coolest things about the fight is that at the very end of it, there's a part where you're surrounded by like a big laser dome of individual lasers, and their reaction command is for Riku to reflect, and then there's also like a regular menu command for Sora to reflect. So you have to hit that command and the reaction command at the same time to avoid taking damage. But like it's such a cool visual seeing them both like zipping around, reflecting.
See, I
these
only did
things
the
with
one
their
side of
keyblades.
that.
You only did the one, and I was watching Sora's health just go down.
Yeah, that's
You
happened to me
barely
when I did
survived
it too. I didn't
Yeah.
get that part.
But-
It is a lot, like this final fight is a lot of trial and error. Like
Yeah.
you have to learn new systems.
Yeah, that's very true. It does just suddenly change how the game is played for funsies. But you get it's got a generous checkpoint system at least, and you can hammer your way through it.
Yeah. So before this last fight, we should mention that there's a portal opened, and then Pluto goes through it, and almost everyone in your group, like Mickey and Kyrie and everyone else, goes through that portal, and that's why it's just you and Riku at the end fighting Ansem.
And flying on your spaceship.
Oh, that's what it is. Riku tries to open a portal, and Mickey's like, "The darkness isn't in you anymore, haha." And then what's her face shows up, blonde Kyrie.
Oh no!
Nominee shows up
we should
and
talk about
opens
that
a
scene,
portal
too.
for everybody to go through, but then shuts it on Riku and Sora. I don't remember why that happens.
Well, because I think that's because Ansem shows up,
Ansem.
maybe.
And there's this
So-
whole scene between like Nominee like steps forward and then Roxas comes out of Sora's belly and Nominee's like, "Remember, I said we'd meet again." And I don't feel like this game earned me caring about Roxas and Nominee. Like they talk
Yeah,
to each
it
other like
didn't.
twice, and now they're like, "We'll always be together as long as Kyrie and Sora are together because Nominee is Kyrie's nobody, and Roxas is Sora's nobody, and we love each other." And I'm like, why? Since when?
they're like, we're
Yeah,
going
well-
to be together forever because Kyrie and me are together, and that means Roxas and Naminé are together because they like come out of your tummy.
Why do
for a
these
little
people
bit,
have to
and
live
then,
in their
like,
tummies? Why can't the game just let them go be and like let them?
Because they're not real.
So what? None of this is real.
Because I think
Wow.
that if because he needs his nobody, it's part
Does
of
he?
him. I guess I don't know. That's my guess. And at this point, then Riku's like not going back through the portal, and Sora's like, why not? And Riku's like, I can't. How would I face them, knowing that I've lost myself to the darkness? And Riku's like, and Sora's like this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he squishes his cheeks
the
together.
best part of the game.
And like crosses his eyes.
It's the episode art if you can see that.
There's
It's
a lot
the best
of
part of the game.
there's, like, especially I think especially in the ending, there are a lot of great Sora faces. This is one. There's one at the very end, which we'll talk about.
Sora
but yeah,
spent
there's some
this
great
whole
Sora
game
reaction shots.
staring blank-faced and dead-eyed at the camera, and finally at the end he shows some personality.
Yeah.
See, Riku shows up, and
So-
suddenly he's alive. You know what? I'm actually kind of starting to buy into the ship. Is all I'm saying.
Telling you. Yeah.
Not because I
Yeah,
think that
telling
the
you.
game is trying to say that, but just because I think it would be better than what we got.
So you do now end up on a deserted world. This is after everyone's all left. You defeated Ansem, and you're on basically like the darkness world, and there's some water, and Riku's like, Sora, I don't need help walking, but he obviously does, and Sora helps
Yeah.
him up, and then they walk over. He's like, help me get to the water. So you go over to the water, and they like have their feet like right at the edge of the shore. He's like, at least it still sounds the same. It still sounds like the water back
also,
home.
John, this area where they're at, this like beach, is the same area from the opening cutscene of the game, where there's two kind of black cloaked figures talking to each other. This is also the same area. There's a Kingdom Hearts, like basically the tech demo for Kingdom Hearts 3, which stars Aqua, is called Kingdom Hearts 2.8. In keeping with the weird names, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, which stars Aqua, all takes place in this dark world too. So this is a recurring setting in the Kingdom Hearts universe.
I see. So they're like, well, I guess we're here forever. At least we're both here together in the darkness, and they'll be because there have to be light and darkness, just like King Mickey said. You can't have light without darkness, so we'll be the darkness and they'll be the light. And then like a message in a bottle comes.
sweet.
And
No, you can't gloss over the most romantic line in this whole game.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think that heterosexual friendship is beautiful and should be celebrated. But let's
I
go on.
agree with you
So
that
do I, but they're definitely gonna kiss.
So what's the most beautiful moment in the game?
So, Riku is like, I was always kind of jealous of you, and Sora's like, why? And Riku says, well, because you live your life by following your heart, and you're just an open, person. You don't have darkness that you're struggling with. And then Riku says, but there's one thing that I have that you can never have. And Sora's like, what's that? And Riku says, this massive dong. And he zips down his pants and just whips it out. And Sora's like, oh. Like his eyes just get really big. And he's like,
Vanessa?
wow. Yeah.
That's not what happened.
Oh.
He says, the one thing I have that you can't have is my friend Sora. And Sora's like, oh, wow. Well, I got something you can't have then. And that's, well, he doesn't actually say, but I guess it's supposed to be
He says,
interpreted.
having you as a friend.
Mm-hmm. And, but then,
Vanessa and I made the same joke in John's Twitch chat earlier, where I think Sora says, "I have something that you can never imitate," and Vanessa and I both made the same joke, which was this giant hog.
yeah, they both made the same joke, and not just both dick jokes. They both said giant hog, which is very strange.
I think Vanessa said this giant hog, and I said my giant dress. sleeping hog.
Gross.
Yeah. And then I became angry because I feel like we're just spending too much time together.
So they're just. I thought this was going to be the end. I thought it's like, okay, I can see why people are so upset with the not getting a Kingdom Hearts 3 for like 15 years, because that's kind of a weird ending, like a good cliffhanger ending. But they don't give you a cliffhanger ending because two things happen. First, you get a message in a bottle that Riku reads to Sora, because as we all know, Sora cannot read. And it's basically saying like, hey, miss you guys, Kyrie. And I'm sure it says other things too, but I can't remember verbatim what it says.
It's
Verbatim.
basically a letter
Verbatim.
from heterosexuality. And it's like, hey, stop whatever you're doing and come back to the female character.
I think it's nice having a show where male friends can like at least enjoy their company and be fine expressing their affection towards each other, and that's not shown enough in the media. That's why, like, hey, I love gay representation, but I also think there's a couple of things you can do to fight toxic masculinity, and one of them is to let men express affection and emotion towards each
I
other.
agree with you, John, and I think
Without
that
it being taken
Sorry.
as gay.
I agree with you, John, and I think that sometimes people take it a little too far, and really kind of fan communities can kind of demand that writers do what they. But in this particular case, cancel culture, John. You know. No, I'm kidding. But in this particular case,
I think that like in a lot of media, men are either like just friends, not even good like vulnerable friends, but just friends, or they're gay.
They're
Like,
friends who
there's
like just mock each other
Yeah.
constantly.
Yes, or like that, or there's like a real strong homoerotic undertone to it, and like there's not a lot of in between. And I wish it was a little more nuanced. And it's like, as far as representation of like, you know, heterosexual male relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you that it. Well, whatever. But I do in this particular case. I actually kind of do. It's not that I think that they're trying to do it. I just, like I said, like it would be interesting.
Well, I think the thing with this case is that this game is much more about the emotional connection between Sora and Riku than it is about Kyrie and Sora. Although the beginning of the game
Definitely.
seems to be more about Kyrie and Sora, the end of the game is all about Riku and Sora.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyrie seems sort of like a non-entity.
Yeah.
She's like a
Yeah.
goal, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but she's not really a person.
Just
She's
like Pluto.
She's almost like a token character in a way. She's like the token female kind of pseudo love interest, but like they're
Right.
kids, so they can't be romantic,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So then, suddenly, a portal opens and comes towards them, and they're like, "What is this?" And is it the light? I think it's the light. And they go through the portal, and then Titus emerges from the water. No, wait.
It's
This
Sora.
is when that fucking banger of a song "Sanctuary" starts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh yeah.
Jim's favorite song.
Yep.
Seriously, this song fucking rules.
So this is an Utada Hikaru song, and she's great. And
I
this...
saw, John, I was gonna ask you about this because like when I listen to that music on Spotify, it's under Utada Hikaru, but she's credited in the game as just Utada. In
Yeah,
all
for
caps, Utada.
I think in Japan, that's her like stage name is just Utada. You know, like Madonna.
Okay, interesting.
I think it's like that. And yeah, she like whenever I've seen her English stuff, I think it was always as Utada Hikaru. And yeah, she is great. And I liked her music. I heard her music before Kingdom Hearts, so that's why I like her. Although I would have liked, it's a good song.
Wow, what
That's
an
what I'm
Utada
saying.
hipster.
Yeah, I heard about it first. So, but no, I didn't, because I heard about her way after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. So no, I'm not a hipster. Well, I didn't hear it first, but I am an annoying hipster. So then you get that song playing while everyone's hugging, and everyone gets back together. Like you see Donald and his family. Like all the nephews and Scrooge
Yo.
McDuck.
They don't show up, do they?
Yeah, they do.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, 100%. You see
Not on
Donald.
the beach.
Not on the beach.
Not on the beach.
No.
We're
In
still
the
on the
credits.
beach.
Okay, so on the beach, Riku and Sora emerge from the water, and Donald is there, and Goofy is there, and they come and give them big old hugs, and Kyrie's there, and it's the Destiny Islands, and they're like, well, I guess we're back here again. Yep.
Y'all, maybe the most moving part of this whole game for me is when Mickey runs up to Riku and Riku picks him up and is like sort of tossing him in the air like a kid, and they look so happy to see each other. I was just like, it's Mickey Mouse and he loves Riku. I like Mickey Mouse.
Do you think Sora's parents are going to be like, we thought you were dead? Sora's parents.
Sora
He's a
doesn't have
garbage orphan, and
parents.
we all know it.
Isn't there one part where you're in his house and like he's got to go get dinner or something in the first game?
Sure, everyone has to have
Who are you
dinner,
talking about?
whether they have parents or not.
Does Sora have parents?
Yeah, well, his mom is yelling for him in the first game.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So I
Jim.
think
that's
it's
his
like that.
caretaker.
What happened to his mom?
It never says. She's never. You hear her voice in the first game, and she's never mentioned or heard from ever again.
Well-
Presumably, she dies when the Destiny Islands get sucked up in the first game.
Oh. Oh, I hope
Yeah, he's
not.
an orphan, garbage orphan.
Okay. So, but when Kyrie's back, isn't she in the Destiny Islands when she's there? And remember at the beginning of the game, like it's Kyrie. I thought she was back on the Destiny Islands. and
Yeah,
she was looking for Sora.
survived.
Yeah, and everyone, but there was a town, and she was like in school
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Everyone
so
survived except for Sora's mom.
okay,
The second game establishes there's a Destiny Islands, which is kind of like a hangout for the kids, and then there's the mainland where they go to school and live and stuff.
I wouldn't say that it
So-
establishes that. I would say that it hints at that.
It does establish that because it shows them looking at the Destiny Island, and it's like, oh, we used to play so many games there.
All right, boys, we're at 2 hours, so let's get
I
through
understand.
this.
We're wrapping it up. So then you get like you see Don like it goes back and everyone's happy. Like on the beach, you see Donald and Daisy and the nephews and Scrooge McDuck reunited.
I don't know if Vanessa's already mentioned this, but she said it was either in John's Twitch chat or in the group chat today that she was genuinely moved when Riku embraced Mickey.
Yeah, Vanessa
I
just mentioned it.
said that.
Sorry, I had to get up and go to the bathroom.
And then there you do see Mickey and Minnie. They almost kiss, but they do not. They just touch their noses against each other.
They try to kiss, but their big fat noses get in the way.
And what else is there? Because then it goes to does anything else happen before credits? Am I
Yeah.
missing? Okay.
Oh, no,
Well,
before credits? I guess not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then there's credits. Vanessa, I was looking at my phone for a sec. Vanessa said I missed two characters kissing during the credits.
Yes,
What did I miss?
the only kiss that we get in Kingdom Hearts 2. It sort of shows all of the different worlds that you've gone to. And one of them is the Finny Fun Friends of Atlantica. And we see Eric and Ariel on a ship, and Ariel is dressed in her wedding dress, and she and Eric do a little smooch.
I see. Well.
We also see Mulan almost kiss her fella, but Johnny and Johnny's boyfriend interrupt.
Yes, and the other guy.
And the other guy.
And then there's a little post-credit sequence, right? Where they're on the beach and they're like, well, here we are. Is that
This is where you get other Sora face, where I think Sora asks Riku, what do you think the door to light is, or whatever, or like where it is? And Riku points to Sora's heart, and he's like, it's always right here. And then it shows Sora. It's like a close up on Sora's like shoulder up, and he's pointing to his chest, and he goes here. And then the camera zooms in on his face, and he has this really awkward smile where he's just like,
And that's the end of the game?
Well, no. Then Kyrie runs in, and she has a message in a bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's from King Mickey,
Mhm.
and you don't get to see the contents of the letter, but then the camera kind of pans out, and you get the adventure music, and then
It's another
that's the end of the
contract.
game.
And then
It's another
and then Doc Brown comes in and he's like, "It's your kids, Marty. We got to do something about your
contract
kids."
for assassination. There's somebody else causing problems in King Mickey Land that he needs Sora to go fucking murder.
Now
Excuse me. I saw something else.
Oh, what did you see?
Oh, did you see the secret ending?
I guess I did. I saw 3 people in full body armor, and they like are standing around,
Oh, yeah.
just kind of
what kind of body armor?
Like old timey armor.
This is Birth by Sleep, right, Jim?
This is, it's basically an ad for Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, they're standing around, and then you see that one of them has a keyblade, and then the camera kind of pans out, and the other 2 have a keyblade, and then they walk like down this path, and the path is surrounded by keyblades stuck in the dirt.
Whoa.
And then you see all these words flash on the screen, like Keyblade Graveyard, Keyblade War. All this stuff is popping up on the screen, and then I think it cuts to, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Oh yeah, and then the Ansem reports scroll by, and
Oh, right, yeah.
something about that. I didn't understand what was happening, so I didn't pay very close attention.
Does this game have a new game plus?
No, which is a real missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah, because the amount of grinding for your levels and stuff seems like it's very new game.
I
plus
would love to be
focused.
able to start a new game at level 99. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. And before we go, there was a dungeon that Jim did try to get me to try, but I didn't have enough time to unlock it.
You did give it the old college try.
Yeah. This is what was it called? The Cave of Memories?
The Cavern of Remembrance.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, and this has, so the Cavern of Remembrance is a big dungeon that has a bunch of sections, and each section can only be completed by one, either using your drive form, so like being in a drive form, or having a maxed out drive form and like using the equipped passive ability. So in the first section, you can only complete it if you have high jump. And the second section you can only complete if you have the dash. And there's a section that you can only get through if you have glide. And there's different kind of corresponding sections to each drive form ability. And then at the end of it, you unlock kind of a secret area that's called the Garden of Assemblage. That's got digital versions of all of the Organization 13 members that you can fight as optional boss fights.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. And there's a lot of really good loot, and it's a really great place to grind, especially in the latter half of the Cavern of Remembrance. It's just, there's so many nobodies in there. It's just a great place to grind your characters. And we should also talk really quickly about these super secret super boss.
Okay.
There's a super boss in the game, so before you complete the game, if you leave the world that never was and go back to Disney Castle, like near where the entrance to the old-timey place is, there is an optional boss fight there called the Living... I think it's called the Living... What's it called? The Lingering Will is what it's called. And you're fighting one of those suits of body armor that Vanessa mentioned that's in the secret ending.
Oh.
And it is, I've never beat it. It is so insanely difficult. I die in a matter of seconds every time.
Oh yeah, I
try
beat
it.
that. No problem. Super easy.
Shut up. But it's super difficult. And I think beating that boss is one of the prerequisites to unlocking the secret ending that Vanessa was talking about.
So fight one of the hardest fights you've ever had to fight in a video game, and you get to watch this super cool
How come
ad.
Vanessa got to watch it for
It's called
free
YouTube.
Vanessa YouTubed it.
I didn't YouTube it. I saw it in the game. It
Lies.
happened.
I watched you stream the end of
No,
this
Is
game.
there another secret ending?
I don't know.
This-
I didn't do anything special. Maybe it's because I got all the Ansem reports. I have
Oh,
no
maybe.
idea. but
Oh, maybe.
I saw it.
And one last thing for John's bullshit mini game corner. I'll talk about it in under 2 minutes. In John's bullshit minigame corner, I did finish up the Winnie the Pooh levels. Because if you remember, Winnie the Pooh had some kind of traumatic brain injury and could not remember his friends. And so you sort of help him regain his memories by doing minigames for him. And the last one is Winnie the Pooh's lost and you got to go find him. Because once again, traumatic brain injury. So you're going through this dungeon and you got to bring his friends, but his friends get scared by things. So you got to reassure them so they don't run away and bring all his friends to Winnie the Pooh. I did this without really trying. I don't know if there was a trick to it, but I managed to do it. And then Winnie the Pooh remembered who Sora was, and it was very sweet because I love Winnie the Pooh, as everyone should. And that's
the end of this Winnie the Pooh area, where you're talking about friendship with Winnie the Pooh, and then you leave. I thought it was very touching. When I first played this game, it made me tear up. I liked it. I was very moved by it.
My cat has decided to come hang out with me and meow, so I apologize. And that's it. That's it for John's bullshit minigame corner. Next time on Square
that's
Roots.
it. That's it for Kingdom Hearts 2, by the way.
I do have one question.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
John, did you ever use any other summons?
Yeah, he's Peter Pan all the time. He's great.
18 times, if I remember your
He stabs
ending card.
people.
Yeah.
He's
Is there
hardcore.
something you want to ask me about summons?
Oh, John, would you
God,
eat
sorry.
that summon?
Now let's see. Would I eat that? So there's 4 summons in the game. And Vanessa, let's talk about these 4 summons for a second.
Yeah.
The 4 summons are Chicken Little,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
the Genie,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Stitch from Lilo and Stitch,
Lilo and
Lilo
Stitch.
and Stitch, and Peter Pan. All right,
Uh-huh.
Vanessa,
Yeah.
Chicken Little, would you eat this summon?
Of course. It's a chicken.
Mhm.
But it's a Zach Braff chicken with glasses.
Even better.
oh no. All right. Then the Genie, would you eat this summon?
I would eat some of the genie, particularly his wispy tail. I
Mhm.
guess it's less of an eat and more of a inhale kind of thing.
Mhm.
But I feel like I could gain some magical powers by doing that. So yes, I certainly would.
Mm-hmm. And you could ask the Genie to make a Genie for you to eat, or would you rather eat the original Genie?
Well, I don't want to use one of my wishes on wishing for a genie for me to eat when there's a genie right there that I'm pretty sure I could get some of that tail and it wouldn't even hurt him.
All right. Stitch, would you eat that weird Chihuahua thing?
No, he's too much like a kitty, and he seems semi-sentient, so I don't think he would be good to eat.
Can't he speak?
He can kind of speak. He's
Okay.
like,
Well, he speaks an alien language. He doesn't kind of speak.
Vanessa's meet somebody who doesn't speak English. They can kind of speak.
No, I mean, he sort of speaks English. He says kind of nonsense words and then English words.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're really human, though.
Stitch isn't a fully developed alien from another planet. He's a lab experiment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a lab-grown beef kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All
my new
right.
Twitch name, at LabGrownBeef on Twitch.
And finally, Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Would you eat this summon?
Yes.
No.
What about Peter Pan peanut butter? Remember that used to be a brand? I don't know if they still make that.
That's still a
Oh.
brand.
That's still a brand.
Jif and Peter
Okay.
Pan are the two that they... Those are the two big ones.
Do you
Yeah,
not
you
have
got one,
Kraft?
right?
You don't have
Kraft
Kraft
peanut
and
butter?
Squirrel?
Kraft peanut
Uh-uh.
butter.
Yeah, that's what I eat. I eat Kraft.
Is there another one? Jif, Peter Pan.
Mhm.
Jif, Peter Pan, and there's one other one.
There used to be Squirrel. I think
There's-
Squirrel got absorbed into another brand.
Squirrel? Fucking
Well, look.
Canada.
Canada has different brands. than you guys. But Kraft Creamy Peanut Butter is my go-to.
Skippy.
Oh, Skippy.
That's the other
Yeah.
one.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think Skippy became Skippy the Squirrel here. I think it
Interesting.
absorbed the other brand. I feel because I know Squirrel became part of another brand, but Squirrel was good too. Except
Jif is my go-to.
that-
Because it's pronounced correctly.
Can I before we finish, I sort of liked Squirrel peanut butter because it had the little peanut on top,
Oh my
but then
God.
my mom would only buy it and always give me the peanut. And I was like, I started like only eating it as a duty to my mom.
Nobody
She
knows
knew
what
I
you're
loved
talking
it so much.
Mom, look, I'm eating the peanut butter.
I don't. Do you
Mhm.
crunchy or smooth,
Oh, always smooth. Crunchy is gross.
Jim?
I like it both ways,
Oh
man.
yeah, Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
I like crunchy.
Wow. I'm with Jim. I go through phases where I want one and then I want the other.
Yeah.
Mostly the smooth though, just because it's less of a hassle.
I like
Next time,
if
crunchy
you're
on like a
gonna-
peanut. I like a crunchy on a PB and J. I like the smooth on like a toast.
Or just like a
Toasted
spoonful.
bread. Yeah.
Also,
Next time,
crunchy, not the magic cure for hiccups. Smooth.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
Smooth peanut
smooth.
butter. Magic cure
Next
for hiccups.
time on
No, it's
Square
fine.
Roots, Kaim
We're going.
goes to prison.
It's
Kaim.
Kayam. Kayam or Kayam?
I think it's Kayam. Kayam goes to prison. So after you defeat the wormy boss, who is very difficult,
something more,
Kayam
biomore.
goes to prison.
I got like F
Yeah, the
by
first mini boss.
the first
Yeah.
supposedly easy boss today.
Just so that
That
we're
was
on
a
the same
mini
page,
boss?
because I did just play it. You're going to play 2 grand staff up to the following save after you fight the boss and get arrested, which is like 30 minutes
Yeah.
further.
Yeah, I get it. This game's not always great.
This
about
game's not great
save
about
points.
thousands of fucking cutscenes.
Okay,
Yep.
let's
you're
talk
right.
about
Let's
that
finish this
next
up.
time.
Patreon.
On Square Roots. All right, so how do we feel
yeah.
about this game? Jim, are you roundly for or squarely against Kingdom Hearts 2?
I'll say roundly 4. Every time I play through this game, I find something else to like about it. And in this case, in my last couple of playthroughs, I very much enjoyed grinding. I liked grinding the drive forms. I like level grinding with Sora. And hearing you guys talk about the ending and watching John kind of experience the ending gave me kind of a whole new
What a
appreciation for
bonkers
it.
game.
So I'll say, roundly 4 Kingdom Hearts 2. Matt, how do you feel about it?
Squarely against Kingdom Hearts 2. Look, I found
Wow.
things to like about it. I certainly fell in love with the combat. I wouldn't recommend this game to anybody. It's trash. It's got the fucking stupidest plot I've ever experienced. It's got nonsense characters that have no development and do nothing. And it has really slick combat that will get you hooked on it. And if that's enough for you, then I say play it. And if it's not, then I say stay the fuck away. This game, I guess, at the end of the day, I can't help but hold a grudge against it for what it could be and is not. And there's some things to love about it for sure. And I'm not mad we played it. And I'll play Kingdom Hearts 3 and Birth by Sleep. And I'll finish streaming Chain of Memories too. But overall,
yeah, right.
amongst all of the series that we've played and all the games we've played, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, I'm squarely against it. It's not a good series. Certainly, it's got its ups and downs, it's got its pluses and minuses, but overall, squarely against. Vanessa,
Yeah,
what are you squarely against?
that's not the right question.
Are you roundly for or squarely against Kingdom Hearts 2?
Thank you, John.
Roundly 4. I enjoyed it. I didn't like it at first. I took some time for me to get into it, but yeah, I ended up being pretty fond of it. Could have done without the doubling back to the worlds we'd already visited.
Mhm.
Just tighten it up a little bit. Could have done without the gummy ship. I hate the gummy ship. It's terrible. But I did end up ultimately enjoying it.
Doesn't need a gummy ship. All these worlds don't need to be different worlds. Could just be like a Final Fantasy game where you wander through a map. You know?
Well, I think that like if instead of recapping like 6 of the worlds you already done, if they would have done away with that and just added maybe 3 more, it would have done a lot to add the diversity of the worlds in the game.
I agree with that. What would you add?
That's a good question.
Like, this is pre-tangled.
Pre-tangled.
How about was it The Princess and the Frog or whatever that one's called?
Yes, definitely that one. That's a good one. I'm not like a big Disney movie person. I'm having trouble recalling Disney films.
Pete and the Dragon.
Pete's. I watched Pete's Dragon so many times as a kid, but that movie is shit.
What would you add? So some of their live action stuff. What other animated? Robin Hood. Oh yes.
Oh, Robin Hood would have been
yes,
a great one.
yes. Robin Hood would be great.
I think Emperor's New Groove would have been good.
Okay. Okay.
Get some David Spade and get some Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet would have been good. Is Atlantis, was that a Disney movie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
With
know.
like Michael J. Fox? Yeah.
It
Yeah.
That
was?
one.
Really?
It was. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
We don't talk about that one.
I don't even remember that one.
I liked it, but it was not well received.
Well, neither was Treasure Planet.
That's
I
right.
did see that one.
They were sort of the same ilk.
All right. Well, what about the last person?
John, how do you feel about it? Are you squarely against or roundly for Kingdom Hearts 2?
I did hate that last boss a lot and swore immensely at it. But I think I kind of here for the Nomura nonsense more than the Disney stuff. Although some of the Disney stuff is fun. I like the summons and stuff. I don't like the recapping Disney movies part. I did really like the mini games, and the Little Mermaid part was really fun.
Ooh, the Rescuers. I would definitely do the Rescuers. Sorry.
So I'm pretty kind of a lukewarm roundly 4. Let's put it that way. I think it's a lot better than Kingdom Hearts 1, which I really did not like. I would put this, it's not one of my favorite games I've ever played, but it's fine. It's pretty fun.
What if you went to the world of a Goofy movie? Is all I'm saying.
And let's move on. Do we have an email?
Yeah,
We do. We got an email today.
we have a few actually. But
God.
someone go ahead and read this first one.
Sure. This one comes from Jeffrey. It says, "Hello, Square Roots. I wanted to email in real quick to see if I make you ponder." He said, "Final Fantasy Dissidia is the action fighting game series taking the protagonist and antagonist from each numbered game and making them fight as flashy as possible. If each of you had to choose a protagonist and antagonist from any game or movie, who would you pick?"
Or movie?
From any game or movie.
All right, John
That's
Wick.
such a big question. Oh,
John
John
Wick.
Wick. And who would he fight?
Russian guy.
Darth Vader.
I think, don't they have to be from the same?
I think that's the context of the question.
So it has to be John Wick and Russian guy.
No, I don't. That's not
Who's
fun.
Russian guy?
And the bad guy in the first John Wick movie.
He wasn't a threat.
That's what the
though,
John Wick
really, the
movies are
Russian
kind of
one.
missing, as great as they are, is like a good antagonist that you really like.
They need like an anti-John Wick,
Yeah.
you know?
Arnold Schwarzenegger is my suggestion. Dave Bautista.
Well, they kind of give it to him in John Wick 3 where he fights Mark Dacascos.
Oh, yeah, but kind of not really. That's... What a great movie, guys. I kind of have been thinking about
Yeah.
rewatching those movies. They're so good.
They are good.
All right, well, welcome to my John Wick cast. Anybody else want to answer this question?
Sure. Now, if it was going to be a movie, I guess it would have to be Sally Field and then from Steel Magnolias, and then the nurse who won't give Sally Field's daughter her medicine from Steel Magnolia. I feel would be really good one. If you're
That's
gonna
a great one.
if you're gonna choose video games, then no, okay, that one's too bad. We'll have Andrew Ryan and BioShock Jack.
Oh,
We'll have
that's a good
them
one.
do their abilities.
I'm gonna go movie, and I'm gonna say Stephen Glass versus Chuck Lane.
That would
Surprise.
be so amazing. And
Epic battle.
I'll go with Vivian Ward from Pretty Woman and the sales clerk who will not sell her clothing because she thinks she's poor.
Or Jason Alexander. In that
Or
movie.
Jason
Yikes.
Alexander. Ugh, I don't want him anywhere near us.
I should have done Nomi Malone and then Gina Gershon from Showgirls.
Yeah,
that would have been way
It's a
better.
missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm going to change mine to John Wick and Michael Myers from Halloween because he'll keep shooting him in the head and he'll keep getting back up. It'll be great. It'll be so funny. Such a great clash of styles, you know?
Matt still not understanding how this question works.
I'm going to choose Magic Mike and Big Dick Richie and have them fight each other. But
I'm gonna choose Sauron and Luke Skywalker in keeping with how Matt answers these questions.
I would love to watch a Jedi walk into Mordor, you know? They're like, you can't just walk into Mordor. Luke Skywalker could.
Mm-hmm.
All right, are we done? Can I
I'm going
log
to choose
off?
Batman and Hannibal Lecter.
All right. So what are these other emails you got, Vanessa?
Oh, right. I got other emails.
Yeah, let's keep. I hope we read all the emails. Let's go back through all the old ones too while we're at it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no reason why we can't read them again and just see if some things have changed.
Just
this
see if
first
Matthew
one-
has an aneurysm, you know?
This first one is from Ryan, and the message is, "Hello all. My question is for Jim. Is there anything new or exciting going on in the world of ska?"
So I wouldn't say I'm super plugged into ska genre,
you are.
but there is one very hilarious thing that happened a few
Oh
weeks
my
ago.
God.
And that's the Mighty
We don't
Boss
have time
Tones
for this. We should have saved this for next week.
The Mighty Boss Tones released a video that was all about. It was a video for their song that was all about George Floyd, and it is terrible. So terrible that it was scrubbed from the internet almost immediately.
Next level tacky. I managed to find it a few days later, but it was gone from YouTube. I had to find it on like fucking Vimeo.
It shows like the
Next
lead
level.
singer of the Mighty Boss Tones kind of skanking around Chicago while the lyrics of this very terrible song are like painted on the walls around him. It's terrible.
Wasn't George Floyd Minneapolis?
Yeah,
Yes.
but he's in Chicago, I think.
Oh.
No, he's not. He's in New York, right? Isn't that where those stairs are?
I'm pretty sure
He's
in
on the Joker
Chicago.
stairs, which are from definitely not the
Those
Joker
are in-
stairs. Where are
Those
those
are in Brooklyn,
stairs?
right? Those stairs are in Brooklyn, I think.
Well, he's definitely on those
Or
fucking
DC.
stairs.
No, those. Oh, I'm thinking of the Exorcist stairs. The
Yeah, those
Exorcist
stairs
stairs
are
are
in
in DC.
the Bronx, I think.
Oh, the Bronx.
The
Yeah,
Joker
the
stairs?
Exorcist. Aren't the Exorcist stairs in DC?
They sure are.
Yep. I've always wanted to go see those.
I seen them, Jim.
Neat.
Did you dance down him while singing about George Floyd?
Yeah. And this was a couple of years ago, so nobody understood. And our second email, this is just
Third
a
email.
submission from, our third email. Tyler has submitted some guesses for which John Cusack is a Vanessa boyfriend. He guesses
boy.
The Raven and also Better Off Dead, and neither of those are correct. So thank you for playing, but
We had a lot of gross point blank guesses. Was that correct?
yes, that's correct.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
A lot of our Facebook
Yeah.
fans will appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. All right. We got a Patreon. Our Patreon has 2 tiers, $3 for every single bonus episode we made. And
It's like 100.
Yeah, there's a ton. Well, there's like 50. And there is one coming out about Resident Evil 8, The Village, which will be half non-spoiler and then half spoilery. So I will not be on this episode, but it's coming out. Also, for $5 a month, you get to vote a couple times a year on games we're going to play, and maybe some other silly votes in the interim. But the next vote will be after 2 games from now. But this was a Patreon choice, Kingdom Hearts 2. Thank you, Patreon, for giving me a game that I kind of enjoyed.
I love how John comes around on these games. It makes me so happy.
I always do.
He was so adamant that he was going to hate Final Fantasy VIII. He was so adamant that he was going to hate this game.
Yeah, and I kind of like
I'm
them,
the only one
eventually.
that has the fucking chutzpah to actually still call these
Chutzpah.
games squarely against, even though I do find things to enjoy about them. You know? Respect that, if you respect nothing else.
One other thing we do for our patrons is that we thank them for being patrons.
We do.
By reading their names at the end of the episode. So, Jim, why don't you get us started?
Patrons have
Sure.
names?
I would like to thank Zimj, Axon Savs, Twex Tom, and Nick Stunaj, George Brady, John Scala, Wawa Weewa. Pluto is not really a person. Florin Jonas Kramer, Marcus Harnsberry, Brian Pitt, Joshua W. Broxson, Justice Breyer, Retire, Go Ice Cats, Boo Lightning. Chief Hazard
Boo
built a
that
convoluted reason
fucking
for
comment.
someone to try and pronounce Icelandic glacier. Snaffenschulskull. Andy Best, I'm Commander Squall, and this is my favorite store in the garden. Solomon Wagner, Fresh Eyes, Justin Rash, a Cum Guardian draws near command. Verbatime Burger Time, Happy Pride Lands Week, Grayson, Gage of La Charité, Megan Sullivan, William Westgard, Robert J. Defendi, Christian Go, Rolled Earth, Wash in the Wind, Sean Gonzalez, Robert T. Wedgecoon, Do the Goofy Tug, I Want to Taste That Goofy Nug,
Oh, no.
Kevin Walter, Joshua Bennett, I'm only doing this to vote for Kingdom Hearts 2, Adam Zimmerman, Gunblading Sid, Fartness Everbeans.
I'd like to thank Matthew Newland, Clock Johnny as a friend of DeSoto. Good job. Huxley Iguana, the RPG Luminary, Tracy. Chris Wilder, welcome to Cute Boy Jail, Honk Honk. Jameson, Randy, Aiden Marriott, Citrus C, Chris Penyak, Andy, Cassandra, Sergeant Spaghetti, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Paul Birsch. Sean, Samuel Mitchell, Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5. Not that fucking asshole Aaron J.L. O'Toole, David Green. Every Vanessa's mom is a precious treasure.
Uh-huh.
Cyril the Wolf. Arrrr! DP 2099. The true secret ending revealing that to be
Deadpool
TJ Miller's Nobody. Jim's verbatim burger time. It says Buger time, though.
It does say Burger Time.
Vanessa's mommy needs you. Hudson Roth, Stu Skeel, Jonathan Ellsworth, Ethan G. Pearson. Hello, Ethan Pearson. Isn't that what Lady D says? Something about Ethan? You know. Peak Nomura Nonsense, Tom, Hexagon, Joseph. Let's stop screwing around and use this sweet, sweet Patreon made by the rights to Shadow Hearts and save it from limbo. Hat Ben, the Ben with the hat. Eating, fleeting, sweeting, heating, beating, reading, bleeding.
Vanessa. Race Jenkins. Nort, the nobody of a heartless patron. Vanessa. Matthew Casterline. I.C. Wieners. Soy Soda Pop. Cameron Shoei. Mary Queen of Scoffs. Vanessa. When performing The Stranger, is it technically
happening?
Stranger Danger? More
don't know, she's
Childress.
adding
David
Vanessa a lot.
Haskell. Robert M. Pullum. Ari Copavara. Dr. Fine. Say everyone's name. Vanessa. Devin Sloan. Sean Walsh. PJ Enns. Rexer Bra Boob. Port Lost Odyssey to PC, gosh darn it. Jack Mizell, Arthur A. More like Kingdom Hearts, now say goodnight. Hails Jethro. The Lightning Rod Raiden is Raiden D's nuts. Vanessa, Andres Rivera, Too Good Recklessly, Chris Ryan, Vanessa, Burger Time with Weird Owl Hudovich. Michael Crawford, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, WWE Mike G, Vanessa J, charitywater.org, Frockstong, Ross Hartley, Mostly Rational Person, Zachary Train, Vanessa, Matt is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Aw.
Alexander Jokic, Kingdom Farts Pooh, Ally, Jerry Scheffler, Stan Ferguson, Jason Timms, Aaron Bachman, Nick, Amanda Douglas, Ryan Miller, Dylan Rowe, Isaac Wright, Stephen Paget, Tracy the Borg Queen, Brie Girth, Listen Up Squoot Stains, Eric Garby, Justin Ham, Tyler Petty, Still Just Cows, Nobody Has an Unpronounceable Name, Christopher Highness, Andrew Leinart, Tyler Crump, many combolations, Eliza Garth. I hope you get all my particles. Lauren Prince, Miguel Torres, OMG, what is this game? Jake Dickerson, Vanessa's Renegade Cheeseplate, Grey Code, Andy Smith, David Shook, Ian Frederick, Nathan Poirot, Armin Hammer, Anthony Orbison, Ding Dong, Ping Pong, Song Sung, Wrong By, King Wong, Alexander Dillard, Oxern, and I'd like to thank myself.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to have an email read on the air, you can email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Our Facebook group, it's a Square Roots podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can find us on Twitter. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to our new Spotify listeners. For all our classic episodes featuring me, Vanessa, check out our archive at squarerootslibsyn.com or on our Square Roots RSS feed. Everyone, please follow us on Spotify if you haven't used the app to increase our visibility.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
Vanessa.
Bye.
Wait, I've got a song to sing. I've got a song to sing.
Sing your
All right.
song.
What is it?
Let's do it.
2, 3, 4. Even though we're hitting the road, our worlds are all connected, which means we are free to come and go and sing. So don't be sad and always know we'll come back soon to say hello.
I don't like this song.
That's the song that they sing at the end of Atlantica.
It's bad.
I liked your song.
Mm-hmm.
I like all of you. And thank
Aw.
you for keeping this nice and tight tonight for me.